Well, well, and well. Welcome back, everybody, to the newest edition, the live edition of the Boys in the Big Apple podcast. And I see a lot of people in the comments section. I have no idea why. That's sarcasm for most people that would know me. But this is going to be an interesting show. This is going to be a very interesting show. Maybe something that we haven't done before. By the way, I will say there will be very little to no analysis on the New York Giants game tonight because that's going to be the rest of their season. But nonetheless, I posted a little something in chat. I don't know if you guys read it. The rant is coming. For the first time in a long time, we will get an angry John rant. You know, Luca, your memory serves a little bit better than mine in a lot of different scenarios. What's that Disney movie with all the emotions?
Hold on. I think it's called the Emoji Movie, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check.
I don't think it's the Emoji Movie.
No, it's not the Emoji Movie. Disney Emotions Movie. It's Inside Out.
Inside Out. Well, we got sad and we got angry. So,
except John's face is not beat red yet.
Anyway, Luca, before we get to angry, let's get to sad. I wonder if sad wears blue colors. But your thoughts?
Of course. I didn't even know it was fitting, but anyways, philosophically, this show could get interesting, and we got to think about things globally. And if you are a Jet fan watching this right now and expecting analysis or some sort of pom-poms or positivity, log off. It's not going to be that show. And I'll tell you this, we're going to be transparent. We're going to be completely transparent. Do not put up anything about BYU or the Dolphins or the Patriots or the Bills. I will tell you this. I originally was going to come into this show with objective analysis, even though John was going to reject it. He's going to tell you that. And that me and John were debating it pre-show. But and I was actually going to analyze the game properly. But you know what? After watching last night's disaster, I'm like, what analysis is there, right? What true analysis can I make of this game? What analysis can you make of watching the same thing over and over again? It's like the similar conversation we had about the Yankees, Alex, if you want to remember that.
There's one other team you're forgetting. But in a sense, there's better things ahead.
Are you saying there's a light at the end of the tunnel? Because for the Jets, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But anyways,
no, angry.
You gotta let me.
I was talking about the Giants.
Okay, you gotta let me finish though.
There's
going to be no analysis on this channel. I got a fellow friend of mine, Vinny C of the Jet Lounge, who's going to come on for even his own ranting purposes. He's just as pissed as we are. We're going to see him in a little bit. Vinny C, the Jet Lounge, as I mentioned, this is not going to be a fun show for the Jets pom-poms waivers who are still out there fucking amazing enough. But I'm done with Salah. I'm done with Joe Douglas. I'm done with losing. I'm not ranting yet because it's not my time. Angry. Take it away.
You know, Luca was actually correct with our story. Because, you know, I had a pretty good day yesterday, I'd say, in terms of watching my Rangers win. How about the New York Knicks with a win? They're playing right now, and they're winning again, back-to-back. So, you know what? Before I even, start, at least those two teams are doing good. So
the MSG teams.
What happened?
The MSG teams.
Exactly.
The MSG teams, yes. I have no complaints about them. Okay? They're making me very happy right now. Knicks have a 5-point lead over the Celtics. On the road. What can I say? And then I watched yesterday's debacle at Sunday Night Football. I watched that whole game. Believe me, I watched 2 games at once. And I was so just infiltrated with rage after that loss. Because this is the same thing every week. And Luca, really, what happened?
Quick note, same thing as last year.
Right, correct. I'm going to get to that. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
And Luka really was about to be all this analysis of objectivity and transparency. And that's what we like on the show.
Yeah.
Transparency and objectivity. And I
Transparency, you say?
simply told him, Luka, as you see me, if I'm being completely transparent.
Take that BYU shit off.
Exactly. Luka, if you put
something a little
anything
bit
No, take that shit off.
Luka, if you put anything positive about this sorry franchise, I will not watch it. I hereby see my Jets towel.
Oh, wait. Got to get something. I apologize.
Oh, go ahead. You can join me, man. As I'm not disrespecting Kevin Mawai, but it just happens to be a Jets white towel.
Okay.
But I will wait till Mr. Luka
It's in one of the bottom two drawers, Luca. I know what he's getting. I'm not revealing it though.
Okay, I won't spoil it because I'll be respectful to Luka because he has done nothing to upset me, you know.
Oh no, of course not. But I do want to shout out the people we have in the chat: Jacob, Sunil, Brad, Jets SMS, Jose's in the chat, Armin's in the chat. I think I covered Grega as well. I don't what?
Hold on, I got it.
He's got it. I thought this was going to be a mock draft show.
No,
who knows? Those might come early this year. It's like Christmas.
You know what, everybody, I apologize to John for interrupting his segment, but let's take a look at this.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right. I should have pulled that shirt out tonight. But you know what? And by the way, shout out Jose in the chat. I'll be on his show tomorrow. I'll be a lot more calm then, and I will do some great analysis for whatever we talk about. So, shout out to all you guys. But this white towel, waving the white flag and throwing the towel in because Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh are hot garbage. Both of them. They are pathetic. They have ruined another football season. Think of this for a sec. Think of this. We rewind the clock. They signed Aaron Rodgers. What is the first thing me and Lucas said?
One of the first things we said was build an offensive line, but also signing a backup fucking quarterback.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on.
And it's not, by the way, it's not hindsight. We actually came on the show.
We said that. We said that. But what I will say is this: do you guys want to do an immaculate grid and then get to the full? Because I feel like John's ready to explode.
No, we're doing this now. We'll do the immaculate grid after. We'll do that after. I promise. My brain will be ready for that. Do you here's what I don't understand, right? How could you be so inept in building a franchise? You could be so poor and thoughtless. The Joe Douglas offensive line whisperer, okay? The Joe Douglas, the Messiah that everyone treated him like, is pathetic. Zach Wilson is not only a bad quarterback, he might be one of the worst quarterbacks in football history. And this isn't some unbiased thing. This is not to kill this man. I hope one day he can be good. But let's face it, he's not good. I even have stats to back it up. You want analytics? Of 95 quarterbacks to play since 2016, he's dead last in EPA. You know who's close to him in those stats? Josh Rosen and Mike Glennon. That's who's close to him. You don't like analytics? Fine. I'll give you simple numbers that I have here. In 931 passing attempts, you know how many touchdowns Zach Wilson has in his career? 20. That's 2.1%. That's awful. Actual awful. There's no other player in history with a worse passing attempt with those amount of touchdowns. That is awful. You know who's he's close to in that? You want to take two quarterback guesses of who he's close to? Deshaun Kaiser and Ryan Leaf. Okay? The bust Ryan Leaf. And not only that, I understand that this game wasn't necessarily on Zach Wilson. I understand that. I understand if you don't put Trevor Siemian in, if you put Trevor Siemian in or Mr. Tim Boyle, right? I understand it might not be better than him. But to keep doubling down on him is clownery. It is actual negligence to this organization. They are an embarrassment to the New York fans out there. And Joe Douglas should be ashamed of himself because You can't sit there and tell me that he couldn't get a backup quarterback, whether it was the offseason, whether it was during the season, whether it was a trade, okay? Because there were guys available. You could have got Gardner Minshew. You could have got Case Keenum. You could have got Mike White back. You know what? You could have used
Andy
that.
Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater. And also, John, I apologize. I got to add in another note. He
Mhm.
has always mishandled the backup quarterback position.
Yes,
Let's go
he
back
has.
to last year. John, who was the backup quarterback besides Mike White, who didn't give a fuck about being here?
Chris Devlin.
No,
Oh, Joe Flacco. Sorry. Joe
Flacco.
Flacco. I'm sorry.
He did. The Jets were scared to play him in some weeks because he did not give
They're
a
scared.
fuck. But also, go back to 2021. What did the Jets opened up with Zach Wilson not having any competition in his rookie season. His competition was Mike White and Josh Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Johnson as well. And the
correct.
Jets, when Zach Wilson got hurt, they traded for Joe. They traded a 6th-round pick for Joe Flacco midseason. The year prior to that, they had Adam. They had who would they have? Let's think about this. They had Sam Darnold, and they had Joe Flacco, who again could not give a fuck about being there.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did they have? I thought they had another guy. It was Mike White. It was Mike White before anything.
You're correct.
Came of him. So
and
I wasn't been mishandled.
Yes, correct. And I want to get back to this. So they could have signed any of those guys. They could have signed anybody. And you know what? If they didn't like them, you know what they could have done? During the season, here's some of the options they could have gone after. Carson Wentz, who, by the way, Scrubs here, I don't know who just put it out there in the chat. I think it was Jacob. Thank you very much. Carson Wentz signs the back of his for the Los Angeles Rams. Is that necessarily going to, help them win a Super Bowl? No. Is that going to, improve their depth? Hell yeah. Is he better than Zach Wilson? Yeah. You know what else they could have done? They could have been on the trade market. You know why? Joshua Dobbs got traded twice.
Jacoby Brissett was available.
Hold up. Joshua Dobbs got traded twice this year. Twice. Once he went to the Cardinals. Ready? They weren't god awful because he was okay. I know the roster stunk around him, but they're obviously trying to lose as many games as possible. Although Kyler came back, but that's another topic for a different day. He then goes to Minnesota. Luka. What baffles me? That this offense is so incompetent. Josh Dobbs didn't know where the damn training camp was. And yet he could still understand the Vikings offense, but the Jets can't understand their own offense. How is that possible? How? That is just incompetent because of a quarterback that doesn't know better and a head coach that is atrocious. And I will continue once we welcome our guest. I apologize.
Vinny, what's up? Former season ticket holder, Vinny. What's up, man? Give us your thoughts.
Where do I begin, gentlemen? Where do I begin with this abysmal, inept disaster that we were all forced to watch last night for 4 quarters? For those of us that are the diehards, I'm an older fan. For a guy that I haven't missed this, I haven't missed a single snap since 1997. This team, this performance last night, how do I say this nicely? And I'm going to do my best to keep myself in check. Was disgraceful, disgusting. That performance, I don't know how else to put. Offensively, I would argue any of the top 3 college football programs could have held that offense in check last night. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It was totally predictable, vanilla, and inept. I mean, at what point in time do you say enough with the quarterback? Enough. I said it on the Jet Lounge last week with my co-host. I said, if Zach cannot make it to the end zone by halftime, make an adjustment. And that's part of the problem with this coaching staff. They don't make adjustments. Sal is way too loyal to his players, especially his draftees. I can't stand that. And I said it before. We didn't get that tough guy that was jumping up and down on the sidelines in San Francisco. We end up getting another guy who wants to be friends with the players. And I don't want that with this team. I want somebody who's going to be a disciplinarian, for lack of a better way of saying it, a ball breaker. We had that 25 years ago with Bill Parcells. And that stems, a fish rots from the head down, as the old saying goes. And I've said this time and time again, especially with this team. You could change the coach. You could change the quarterback. You could change the GM. You could change the shitty unis. Thanks again, Woody, for the legacy uniforms. They look great. I'm glad we got kick-ass unis. I'm really happy about that. But at the end of the day, it's the same movie over and over and over again. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And to show how much of a buffoon this coach is. And I've tried to be an apologist for him. I can't do it anymore. Last week in the presser, when they wouldn't address the quarterback situation, he goes, "I plead the fifth." What professional head coach in any sport, never mind the National Football League, says that? This is New York City. This isn't Cleveland or Tennessee or Jacksonville that aren't football towns and nobody gives a shit whether they win or lose. The magnifying glass here is 10 times worse. Like, who says that? And then on top of that, it's the same nursery rhymes he spits out, the same ones of, last night when the game was over, I don't know if any of you tuned into SNY, and he goes, "Well, we can't commit stupid penalties." I know. Oh, we can't turn the ball over. I know. And the classic one, many of you will agree with me. This is the best one. But we had such an excellent week of practice. Get the fuck out of here.
There it is. And you know what? Vinny, I don't mean to cut you off. But
no,
going
go
back
ahead.
to Zach
I'm
for
sorry.
a second.
I could go on. I don't want to take your time.
No. You're not taking our time. Thank you for joining us. But hold up. I had one more thing with Zach. Did any of you know he is the first? This is history. This never happened before. Zach Wilson is the first quarterback with 250 passing yards in 2 straight weeks and not a single touchdown. They haven't had an offensive touchdown in 39 drives. They are atrocious on offense. And this Nathaniel Hackett offense here's why, you could sit there and defend him, but I'm not going to. I know the game wasn't all his fault, and I'm going to get into Salah because I've had it with him before Lucas started saying it. I was the one that started saying he is a doormat. Okay, that man has nothing. He is no gas, all brakes. That's what he is. Okay, but this offense is worse than Mike LaFleur's last year. This offense is worse than when Adam Gase was our coach.
And that's saying something.
That is embarrassing, okay? That is embarrassing. They can't score. Their third down conversion is terrible, although it wasn't too horrible last night. But we saw in the previous weeks against the Chargers and our lucky win over the Giants. Yes, our win was lucky over the Giants because we had no business winning that football game. The only reason we did, and the man on my right and your guys left can say that because he's a diehard Giants fan, is because the Giants gave us that game. But Vinny, I'm glad you brought
I
up.
said this. I'm not saying it because I'm a Giants fan. I'm actively rooting for the tank. So that obviously means that's all because of the Jets loss and everything else. The worst thing that the Jets did was win that game against the Giants.
And can I just say something, speaking of the Giants, and I'll be the first person to say, I am not a Giants fan. I don't like them at all. I'm not trying to disrespect them. They're a first-class organization. I'm jealous of the Giants. With that said, I firmly believe if somebody with the integrity of a John Mara owned the Jets right now, John Mara owns his team. Salah's done today. This wouldn't even continue, but we have an inept owner, and I'm telling you, going back to the quarterback situation, who's really making the call? It's coming from Woody for 2 reasons. Number one, it's because they have to justify the fact that they took this brat second overall. That's number one. And number 2, here's the big one. He makes so much money. They are not going to sit $8.5 or $9 million on the bench for a Tim Boyle who barely makes $1 million. They're not going to, and I'm telling you, nobody wants to hear this. No Jet fan wants to hear this. Buckle your seatbelts. He's on the roster next year because if they cut him or if he's on the roster, it's an $11 million cap hit. He's not going anywhere. I would be a man about it, like the 49ers were with Trey Lance, and say, listen, we fucked this up. We're going to cut our ties early, and we're going to move forward. But that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Right. And Vinny, I am so glad you brought up Robert Saleh because and this ownership group, because let's face it, the Johnsons, all they care about is their ticket sales. Okay. That's all they care about. They just want to make sure fans buy tickets. Well, fans, I'm telling you, stop buying tickets. I haven't bought a single ticket this year, and I'm not buying one because I'm not watching.
Fans on Twitter already are canceling season tickets.
I know. Good. And I hope more fans do. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do with their money. It's your right. Okay. You earn your money or you get your money however you can. Do what you want. I myself am not going to a single Jets game this year, but I'm glad Vinny brought up Robert Saleh because as I'm watching this game, what is something that has been mind-bogglingly horrible the past few weeks?
Timeouts.
Penalties. Penalties.
Bingo,
management.
Those all are horrible. But Luka hit it nail on the head. Penalties. I don't understand what it takes for a Jets player to get benched anymore. I really, really don't. CJ Uzama commits a penalty, right? Commits a penalty. I forget when specifically in the game. Jets then score. They score a touchdown. We haven't scored since the Giants.
It was holding. It was holding.
Guess who? Guess who it is? Guess who the lovely player is?
Uzama.
So how is it that Robert Saleh doesn't get in the face of players? And by the way, I heard the Evan and Tiki on WFAN today. No disrespect to Tiki Barber, he's got no clue what he was saying. To say that Robert Saleh, he's not that type of person. He can't get in the face. You're a coach. Figure it out, because whatever you're doing isn't working. And week after week, this team is undisciplined with penalties. We saw it in the Giants game. They literally went off sides on a punt. We saw it in the Chargers game. We saw it last night. Michael Carter had an inexcusable shot block.
I think a lot of it you could see it on the sidelines with this coach with his body language. That's why I go back to what we saw in San Francisco, him jumping up and down and slapping the players on the helmet. I mean, the thing is, I want him to get pissed off when things are bad. I don't want him to get up and excited when, we kick a field goal. Oh, hallelujah. You know what I mean? Every time there's a personal foul, this is the sight you see on the sideline. His arms are folded, he's looking down, and he's pouting. Newsflash. Unfold your arms and start yelling. If this was a legitimate head coach in this league, you sit the guy down, especially after a personal foul, and show him who the boss is. But again, he's way too loyal to his players. There's no accountability ever.
None.
Nothing.
None. There's none. And it's ridiculous because it is either the same players maybe not the same players, but it's the same problems every week. How come I don't see him get in the face of Laken Tomlinson for holding? How come I don't see him get in the face of CJ Uzama for doing something? You don't want to talk about penalties? How come I see the same sorry-ass routes that Alan Lazard runs every week? It is pathetic.
Jogged on a route.
What happened?
He jogged on a route.
Garrett Wilson, they did a trick play. He could have ran for a touchdown, right? And you see Alan Lazard jogging.
Okay.
How about on the interception? Hold up. How about on the interception, Alan Lazard on the comeback refused to fight for the football? Now, I know. How about Zach Wilson doesn't get benched? Okay, how about he doesn't get that when he stares down a receiver? How many times does Zach Wilson have to fumble the football? How many false start penalties on the offensive line? It is the same problems every week, okay? Alex knows it because we put up the sign here a lot because it's hot garbage. They are hot garbage.
Also, by the way, I want to add some things in. That wasn't the interception. But it was the one route down the left sideline that I originally thought was a bad throw by Zach. That's where Lazard was jogging. And that's also Genius Hackett. Garrett Wilson has a hand injury. We're going to let him throw the football.
With his injured wrist.
How about that play selection last night? How many times were we forced to watch run, run, pass? Or how about that drive we absolutely needed a first down and they went run, run, run. That was one of the worst. I just like this is where we go back to just like, why can't somebody else go out there and chuck the rock? It can't be any worse. When these quarterback stats started being kept, which was 1978, I'm a football junkie. I know shit like this. Mm-hmm. And to say that was 8 years before I was even on this earth, that sounds worse.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. And here's the beauty, Vinny, because this is how I know Saleh has no self-reflection, has no accountability. Today, what does he say? Well, we're not changing the quarterback, and we're not changing the play call. So what are you doing there?
Well,
what are you doing there?
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
The way the Jets handle Zach Wilson is an absolute embarrassment to any professional sports organization across America or the world. I have never seen the Jets first of all, we know they double down on Zach Wilson, but they constantly put in the fucking media, the Jets didn't sign Carson Wentz because we believe in Zach Wilson. Talk like go back to high school. Imagine having a crush on a girl or saying you're in a relationship with some girl first time ever, and you brag to your friends, you brag to the entire grade that you love her. Who cares?
And
Who
it's like
cares?
it's the worst thing ever because
Luca, I can
that
answer
girl's a
that.
piece of shit.
The problem is when you're a Jets fan or even a Giants fan, you can argue, is Evan Roberts said it best on WFAN, they can't just suck quietly. And what I mean is every time that they fuck up, it's always on the national stage.
Yep.
Last night on Sunday Night Football, the butt fumble on national television. Whenever they made any monumental draft bust, excuse me. But my God, nobody cares about the Browns. Nobody cares when the Titans screw up. Nobody cares when the Chargers screw up, especially when you only have 7 fans. But again, it's New York City and everything is magnified 10 times more. And it always looks worse. I'm tired of them being the punchline to every bad joke.
They are a
Will
punchline.
McDonald,
Jaguars.
yes. Will McDonald. Broderick Jones is doing
Oh.
things in Pittsburgh. Will
Dude.
McDonald, yes.
Look,
And it's like,
oh yeah, thank you for bringing in Will McDonald. How bad of a draft pick does that look, knowing he had a 2nd-round grade on him? We reached for him on the 1st round. He's been deactivated for multiple games. We already had a litany of pass rushers. We had issues on offensive line, wide receiver, other issues, and they reached for Will McDonald. He's done nothing. You know what the problem is? Joe Douglas thinks that because he hit a home run in last year's draft, he can get cocky and he can get arrogant and he could pick anybody and want. Nobody from this draft class has made an impact this year. You can make an argument for Tippmann, but even he's been injured. You know what I mean? And I mean, the book's out on him as well.
you can go back to draft night because this one below me and me had a hell of a reaction because we were so angered by the pick and we were so clueless, okay, because we didn't know that he would pick an edge rusher. Well, that's pretty much one of the only positions we didn't really need on this football team. And I love the point Vinny brings up about how arrogant Joe Douglas is and how they want to keep justifying Zach Wilson because they knew last year that Mike White was better. They knew it 100%. As soon as he came in, the Jets offense started moving. It started looking competent, okay? He wasn't the next Joe Montana, okay, or Tom Brady out there, but he did enough to get the offense rolling, and the Jets to somewhat start getting on a roll before he got hurt, and then they had to go back to Zach Wilson, who cost us the season then. But I want everyone to keep this in perspective.
Okay.
What's the Jets' record now?
4-5.
4-5.
4-5. That means that Robert Saleh, in his last 16 games, is 4-12 as a head coach. 4-12.
You know, what does that
dating back to that 7-game losing streak last year.
But he didn't get fired, though.
You're headed for another one, too. You're headed for another one.
Oh, yes. No. If anybody, and I mean anybody, thinks we have any chance of beating Buffalo again, beating the Dolphins, beating the Texans, beating anybody on our schedule that is coming up, they're dead wrong. They will lose. Because
don't bring Aaron Rodgers back.
No.
Right. The Jets find ways to lose games. We always say it. Bad teams find ways to lose. Good teams find ways to win. Well, guess what? Bad teams find ways to lose. That's who the Jets are. That's why they should be sorry. You should fire. If you're the Johnsons, you should fire Joe Douglas, fire Robert Saleh, and if I'm the Johnsons, seriously, if Jets fans really want to stick to them, stop buying tickets. Stop buying tickets.
Buy jerseys. Don't buy tickets. Don't buy jerseys.
Don't buy tickets.
The problem with that is the fan base is way too loyal. Like I gave my tickets up years ago, but
you can be loyal. Vinny, you can be loyal. Stop helping them because that's the only way they'll ever learn. Force them to sell the team. I don't know how. I know that's a bit of a stretch. That is the only way they learn because they have been a laughingstock for over a decade.
How about just changing the narrative and trying to do it the way other winning organizations do it? Like when they started with this regime, okay? And I wanted to give Joe Douglas the benefit of the doubt. He came from winners in Philadelphia and Baltimore, okay? Mm-hmm. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings with those. But let's call it the way it is. He was in Philadelphia when they won that Super Bowl. He did not pick a player. He had nothing to do with that championship. He was in Baltimore under Ozzie Newsome. He did not pick any of those players. Yes, he was in the office. Yes, he evaluated talent. He had nothing to do with it when you really think about the grand scheme of things. And for that matter, you need to start bringing in experienced players that know how to select the right players and put them into a position where they could succeed. If you are not in that, realm of where you've had that experience, you don't belong in a position of authority in the National Football League. With that said, The first class, we all wanted to blame. Well, Adam Gase was in the building. Okay, we'll give you a break on the first class. But the fact of the matter is, when you pick the wrong quarterback, I'm referring to the Zach Wilson pick, it sets the franchise back 3, 4, sometimes 5 years. Even if they turned it around next year with Aaron Rodgers, and let's say they get the wild card. Okay, God willing, right? He's always going to be linked to the Zach Wilson pick. The stench of that is never going to go away. He's arguably going to go down as quite possibly one of the worst draft selections, never mind the Jets, probably in league history.
Easily. He is a bust. Zach will there, and I'm tired, and Luke is probably more tired than me. These Zach Wilson defenders are awful. I mean, whether it's the Twitter, whether it's media, whether it's the fans, it is laughable. And I just gave you some of the stats. Laughable that we're defending a Zach Wilson no-look pass. That's what some people were celebrating on Jets Twitter. A no-look pass. Okay? Congratulations. Congrats.
That's how low the bar has gotten.
They still lost to an interim head coach who just got the job. This is his second game coaching, and a backup quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, who they had no faith in pretty much.
A fourth-round rookie quarterback, and he's in his third year.
It's embarrassing.
And this Joe Douglas, he prides himself as being this offensive line guru. Let's look at all these draft selections he made specifically on the offensive line. Mekhi Becton didn't play football the last 2 years.
Nope.
Elijah Vera Tucker has now had devastating injuries 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Cameron Clark is basically a paraplegic. He can't play football anymore.
Yep.
Carter Warren can barely get off the practice field.
Right.
Or the practice team, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Tippmann, he's also gotten injured. I think the only one right now I can't badmouth is Max Mitchell, because all he does is his job whenever they ask him to play, but they don't want to give him the starting role. How about some of these free agents that they brought in? Laken Tomlinson is horrific.
Oh,
horrific.
God, that holding penalty he had yesterday drove me nuts.
Yeah, and then let's not forget our good friend in Dwayne Brown, who's 1,000 years old. When we started this season, listen to how crazy this sounds, okay? And what do we know? We're just fans. We're not in any position of authority. But we were asking a 38-year-old to protect our 39-year-old quarterback, and at the beginning of the seasons, there was rumblings they were going to reach out to Jason Peters, a 41-year-old, to back up our 38-year-old. That's how desperate we are on this offensive line. This guy doesn't know anything about the offensive line.
You know what? I'm the one to say when we do live streams, get this player off the field. Get Joe Douglas out of the building. Get him out now. Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Do we really want to rubble through his free agency class? Randall Cobb, inactive every week. Alan Lazard, a drop machine.
One catch last night. $11 million.
Don't forget, Alan Lazard is lazy.
He sucks.
He's lazy. For a big body, swear to God, he might be the most invisible big body out there. Because that's what he was labeled as, a big body possession receiver. But boy, does he look weak and lazy.
What about Dalvin Cook? I mean, he had a somewhat okay game last night.
Luka. No, but why did they stop giving him the ball last night?
That's true.
He started off the game so hot, and he was like, you know what? I'm not going to take this shit anywhere. I'm going to lower my shoulder, and I'm going to start picking up big chunks of yards. And then they got away from him. When they finally went back to him in the second half, they threw him that screen that was just dropped. What are we doing?
I know. They have no feel for the game whatsoever. It's like they can't go away from their scripted plays. They can't. It's like they're allergic to doing that. If they do it, they'll go into anaphylactic shock, because they wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
Luka, you're forgetting McCole Hardman.
Oh, McCole Hardman.
They had to trade him back.
What did we really gain out of that? We had to trade him and a 7th-round pick to get a 6th-round pick back. So if you really look at the grand scheme of things, we moved up, 10, 12 spots?
So happy.
And for an AFC opponent to trade with us, it just goes to show how little they are worried about the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Right. What about our good buddy Carl Lawson? Has he done anything lately?
Well, let me just.
Well, he played last night. He didn't have to play the cheerleader role like you said. He actually played.
He did, because I never noticed him. But anyway, what an awful signing that was. Carl Lawson. First off, Robert Saleh. I hope I never have to hear Robert Saleh speak again, because he either can't diagnose his players, has given us wrong diagnosis, and Luka will tell you. Luka, when we had our secondary injured, what did he originally say?
Well, DJ Reed originally, they said, "Oh, he's gonna clear protocol. He just has to go through a couple of hurdles," but never cleared
Hold up.
until
About
that.
Sauce Gardner. What was the designation before the concussion?
They said
What was the word he
illness.
used?
Illness.
Illness. We're diagnosing illness as concussion. One is a sickness, the other is to your head. How hard is that to understand? Incompetence.
So let me ask you guys, because like I told Luca before, I can only stay on so long tonight, but I don't expect them to can the staff. I don't. But if they were to can the staff, who would you bring in?
I'm going to be honest with you, Vinny. I saw you tweet this earlier, and I have to agree. I'm tired of first-time head coaches. I really am. Can't do it. Can't do it.
If there's one guy, I do want someone that's innovative offensively that I would like to give a look at. I know he's not been a head coach, but he's a coordinator. The one guy I'm looking at is Ben Johnson from the Detroit Lions.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If you don't want him as a head coach, if he wants to transfer as coordinator, I would definitely love him on the staff. He deserves an interview at least.
See, my only argument with that is I just feel that, coaching candidates out there have just used the Jets as a way to get their feet wet and just be able to say, hey, I'm an NFL head coach.
I understand that.
But,
I understand.
The thing with the Jets is for some reason they have this obsession with always going after these defensive-minded guys. I mean, look at this disaster that unfolded when we took Salah.
That's why.
That's
why I specifically say an offensive mind. I don't mean to cut you off. That's why I specifically say offensive mind, because the defensive route has simply not worked. And I'm not even mad at the defense for last night. I'm really, they gave up plays here and there, but you know what? They're on the field every damn play. That's really how it is.
You got to if you're going to have a guy who's going to be learning on the job how to be a head coach, whoever your coordinators are, there should be experienced head coaches or guys that have done before that they're not also learning on the job. Don't forget, we had a rookie head coach. We had a rookie OC, a rookie QB coach. And by the way, we're going to draft a rookie quarterback, especially when you have a defensive-minded guy who has no experience evaluating quarterbacks. That was a recipe for disaster. What Luca was referring to, what I tweeted out earlier, I would honestly reach and I would just call up Jim Harbaugh, honestly, and people don't like that name. I know what's going on in Michigan. I don't care. He's got a proven track record in the NFL. He's worked with the likes of Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick. He got to a Super Bowl, and he came seconds away from winning it. So with that said, I'd say come save this franchise. Here's a blank check. I would make him the head coach and the general manager, and I would say I need to oversee the entire operation. I would.
One more note, because the passing game coordinator, I remember this one of the first moves they made this offseason, Todd Downing from the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, another proven loser.
A proven loser, and he got a DUI. Why
and the Jets could not wait to hire him.
What happened? Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. Just actually clownery from this organization. Clownery. Like, again, we can't tell the difference from an illness and a concussion, and I rest my case.
The Johnsons are historically cheap guys. Unfortunately, like I said, I would love to get a proven guy. I just don't see it. And people will argue with me, but they got Adam Gase. Yeah, Adam Gase was not an NFL head coach.
That doesn't count.
And it's crazy to think that he was the first offensive mind they hired since Richie Kotite. I think I'm older than everybody in the room here to remember Richie Kotite.
I wouldn't trust either of those guys to be the equipment manager of a high school football team, okay? That's how awful they are.
Just sucks, man. It just sucks. But Vinny, I know you said you had to go, but any final thoughts? Alex, put your Twitter out. Also, check out Vinny C in the Jets Lounge. I think every Thursday you guys host a show with your co-host Raven. Please check that out. But Vinny, any final thoughts?
Yeah, man. I thank you again, first off, for bringing me on. I always tune into you guys. You guys do a great job. So,
Thank you.
You can find me on Twitter. It's at Vin and the Jets. We drop our episodes live on Thursday nights, usually around 8:30-ish. But in closing with this situation, this is an out-and-out disgrace. Am I going to root on the tank? Not yet, because this isn't a year that we're going to be drafting a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback next year. They have too much invested in him. The reality is, unfortunately, when you sell your soul to bring in an Aaron Rodgers and basically agree to do everything that he says, all his Packer buddies, I hate to tell you guys, they're going to be coming back next year. So if you don't think you've seen the likes of Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, even Billy Turner, needless I say, and our good friend Nate Hackett, I don't care if they lose out for the rest of the year. They're all going to come back. I have a feeling that they've already gotten a pass from ownership. Salah's going to get a year with Aaron Rodgers. If it doesn't work out, everybody goes out the door. But unfortunately, we're stuck with these guys.
Thank you, Vinny, for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
Later, all right, later, man.
So it also goes, I also want to shout out Afram in the chat and also Is. Of course, he is the one supplying the Lucas shirt.
Yep, New York Jets. What does this read? So close, but never finish.
Remember,
I feel my face actually getting red.
John, I just want to say you really did a great job with that rant. You were legitimately angry. You were fired up. That's
still
how
angry.
No, I know you're still
angry. I need to take off my hoodie. Give me 1 sec, please. I apologize. Go ahead.
Go right ahead. It's all right. It's all right. Don't say that, Armin, please. I know you think that.
I said this to John on the phone today.
If Aaron Rodgers wants Hackett as head coach, he could go to, because let's be completely transparent here, as we always do on the show. Let's look at the bigger picture, because I think we have to at some moment. This year is without Aaron Rodgers. Let's say the Jets are 4-7 by the end of the Miami game. They end up losing to Miami. They end up losing to Buffalo. But they're essentially out of the playoff picture. They have a tall hill to climb already right now, and if they lose the next 2 games. But let's call it completely fair. Let's call it how it is. Aaron Rodgers, it was only supposed to be here for 2 to 3 years. Do you really think that after next year he's going to be here with the Jets? And Robert Saleh is going to get 1 year with Aaron Rodgers. Is it really worth it for a one-off year? Or is it worth it saying, you know what, if Aaron Rodgers wants Nathaniel Hackett to be the head coach, I tell him to go elsewhere, retire, and start new?
I'll say this.
If they don't win a Super Bowl with that, then it's an automatic fail.
Here's the truth. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. No. It's not even that, John. It's not even that. I took a realization of this yesterday. The coaching staff is way too incompetent for him to overcome and possibly win a Super Bowl.
I agree.
And that's the downfall. That's the downfall, because Hackett obviously is he's just a mannequin who sits there on the sideline. His biggest accomplishment, John, to all these Jet fans, telling us, oh, Hackett's not that bad of a hire. He made Blake Bortles a game manager. Blake Bortles, if that's your career highlight, you should not be an NFL offensive coordinator. And it's like, oh, he works with Aaron Rodgers so well in the red zone, this and that. Such a bad hire. I said it from the start. And John has the famous clip of, what he said. But I don't know if Alex has it at the moment. He could play it if he wants. It's such a joke. Why don't they learn the lesson? Like, the funny
thing
was
the initial reaction when I said they hired him, or when his name was rumored. I don't remember exactly which, but
it was probably when they hired him. And the funny thing is, John, to go with the offensive coordinator role and the offensive assistants, they fired John Benton. They fired Mike LaFleur. They fired, the people on the offensive staff. They went to the Titans to grab some of their guys, Keith Carter and Todd Downing. Their offense was bottom of the league last year. So you're just grabbing a veteran for the sake of grabbing a veteran. It essentially is a downgrade or a lateral move to essentially bring those guys in, because they were terrible. The floor was terrible here. I know that. But it was essentially a lateral move. You did nothing with it. And nobody, to be fair, probable was going to come here. Frank Reich was not going to come here. Todd Monken was not going to come here. And you know why? Because originally, before Aaron Rodgers got here, it was assumed that Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas would be on the hot seat. And damn well, they should be on the hot seat right now. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if the Jets fans think he is a top 5 general manager. He is not. You know what? Top 5 general.
Top 5 of what? Being useless? Falling asleep?
John, hold on.
Can I say
what I'm sorry. You know what top general managers do, John?
Win.
Exactly. Let me pull up his record, because I'm pretty sure I retweeted this. We're gonna.
Pretty sure it's awful.
It is awful.
Hey, guys, can I ask you a question?
Hold on. You just gotta let me find this record. You gotta let me find this.
Go ahead. I'll
it's a relatable question though. Can you guys tell me I'm not gonna do this now. Oh, wait,
24-51.
that was the wrong tab I had to pull up. Can you guys tell me why Brian Flores got fired?
Because he couldn't hire an offensive coordinator.
Because he couldn't build an offense. What's the difference
No,
between?
also there was some stuff with the ownership that was a little different.
No, I understand, but
From the football perspective.
No,
from the
yes,
football-
yes, I
from
know.
the football, and Brian Flores' record is probably better. No, it is better in 3 years than Salah's. Am I right to say that?
You're absolutely correct.
Let's see, what 2019, 21, and then Salah's 3 years. So yeah, you probably compare the records side by side, and their offenses were terrible. They were awful.
This is the worst offense I ever watched. No joke. Like John brought up the stats, we're the worst third down offense since 1978 when they started.
And that's so bad because the Giants have Tommy DeVito at quarterback.
Exactly. They can score. How the hell can the Giants? I know it's garbage time. Like this and that, and the other thing.
Hold up. Tyson Bagent on the Bears looks better. Clay Toon probably looked better on the Browns.
DTR.
I mean, you know what? I'll get into Salah after the wheel of excuses. Because you know what's funny, John? It wasn't only us. There were some other people, including Vinny, who wanted Salah canned last year. There were people like, oh, well, continuity, well, this and that. You know, all these different excuses of why we couldn't fire Robert Salah. You can't fire a head coach after 2 years. The Jets lost how many games in a row last year?
7.
It was actually 6, but you're right.
Sorry, 6.
You're right because they lost 6 games in a row last year. In a normal football organization, that coach gets fired. Eric Mangini lost down the stretch in 2008 with the hurt Brett Favre. You know what happened to him? He got fired, and Rex Ryan was hired. Robert Saleh does not deserve to be a head coach. But let's go into the excuses. I will finish up after that.
I do want to get to his chat for a couple of things because we've been missing a little bit. Flores did not like Tua and wanted Herbert. Like Tua, if a new regime is bought in, they have more talented assets to trade away than Joe Douglas did. Y'all should have kept LaFleur. Probably
it would have made no difference, to be fair. It like LaFleur was technically like kind of an upgrade. It was like a small upgrade.
I believe if they're all fired, the trade away everyone and start at the ground rock bottom all over again. I know Jets Turbulence said trade Sauce and all those guys
for 6. Was he say 6 first rounders? Yeah.
JPP the Saints. So I was telling you, Jeff fans from the beginning, but I was a hater because I'm a Giants fan. Well, I guess he was going along the point of all this Salah stuff. Good job, Sunil. Armin says, I've been saying that since Jeff's turbulence this offseason. They literally got on Twitter and said, we've been saying the same shit since February.
Oh, yeah, they have been. Nobody's going to credit them because they're toxic and they're negative and all this bullshit. But
the Jets, we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, right.
Let's see what else. If Salah's, we talked about this one. Which is a real possibility. Again, what's up to add from Ben Johnson?
My face still red?
It kind of.
A little bit.
Ben Johnson would rather go to the Chargers. This is a good one. Rick Bisaccia, but they need an offensive-minded head coach. This is his life as a Jets fan. I'm not a Jets fan, but seeing your pain hurts my soul.
Again, it's going to be 13 years without the playoffs. We're going to miss the playoffs.
Because the staff is obsessed with making Zach Wilson look like a viable QB when he's sorry.
Brian Costello said it before you get to your next comment. He said he believes the Jets are afraid of admitting failure with the number 2 overall pick. And he believes that if the Jets bench him one more time, they'll be finished with him. And he'll have to be cut.
He should have been finished.
Jets should take a QB in the first round. They had 1 year of Rodgers. He's going to be a crippled grandpa soon.
It depends. We got to see what happens.
James Morgan. I know they knew they were going defense. They should have selected Nolan Smith.
No, they should have not selected a defensive player.
They could have selected a wide receiver. That was like my second offensive option. I was like JSN. Like JSN's not making the impact that Addison and those other guys are, like Zay Flowers. But
you could have selected one of those, any of those guys. They were all available.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason I say the Jets are in a worse spot is because
they are in a worse. I'll tell you this right now. Alex is going to continue to argue with me on this. The Jets are in a worse spot.
But but realistically, Luca, I do agree with you, and I'll explain why. I'll explain why.
I'm telling you this right now. The Jets are in a worse spot with the Giants because they have an incompetent staff that's going to come back because their owner's a loser and he does not care. He only cares about money and ticket sales. And the Giants are low on the draft board. They are going. Or I should say high on the draft board, they're going to take a quarterback and they're going to reevaluate things properly.
Only reason I say Jets are in a worse spot because they have 1 year of Rodgers next year if he stays healthy, and then they're going to need a QB in a weak QB class.
It's a one-off year. It's a let's be realistic, Jet fans. It's a one-off year. What happens with Rodgers next year? Like, it could be 1 year of playoffs and that's it. They're not making the Super Bowl with this incompetent coaching staff, and our general manager can't even build a fucking offensive line.
Yep, this was about the Hackett hire. They told you we got Aaron Rodgers. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But some people just wanted to increase the cop-outs.
The Jets have doubled down more on Zach Wilson than they did on Sam Darnold. I know it was a different regime. Didn't know how in the hell the staff has Wilson throwing the ball 30-plus times in any game. These fellas are requesting a treat.
The worst part was when Zach started to get into a groove a little bit, they started running the football. They started playing scared. And that's what this staff does. They play not to lose. And that's not going to win you shit.
Trade Sauce, Garrett Wilson for 6 first-rounders. And they'll get Aaron Rodgers back next year to go to 8 and 9.
That's sad. We have to talk about our rookie of the years last year as trading them.
Yeah. We got some more to get to, then we'll get to the wheel. Went to that one. Even Aaron Rodgers was shaking ahead at some of the play calls. That's sad.
Nathaniel Hackett's just a decoy. He's just a dummy.
None of them have a brain. It's okay. We know none of them have a brain.
True. The Knicks Nation, at least we have a quarterback to look forward to.
If you put your cards correctly, unlike the Jets when they should have tanked for Trevor Lawrence, but
yeah, they should have. But they decided
currently worse, but our future's better. Some of you fans, no, I'm not. No to Marvin Harrison. Alex Kafka is Kafka going to be a scapegoat if that does happen? I'll get to that actually. I'm going to star that comment, Jacob, so don't go anywhere. I wasn't in favor of trading Ruff for Rodgers to begin with, but I thought he would just come up short, not all for the injuries and the incompetences the coaching staff would derail him with.
The Jets had to make the big move, to be fair, but they never should have begun the season with Robert Saleh as head coach. And I was told, continuity and all this bullshit. They should have never begun the season.
Continuity is such a bad word.
It is such a bad word. It really is. They never, ever, 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 ever should have began the season with Robert Saleh as a head coach. And I said it last year. I said, you know what? I know I said Sean Payton. I know that's not working out right now. He's obviously being a clown out in Denver. But just not only making a money move at head coach, quarterback, but pay your head coach. Don't be afraid to dish some money out to a proven guy.
Well, so Luke, are you saying you don't want the Zach Wilson jersey?
Oh, no, I'm done with the Zach Wilson experiment. Even though like some clowns, some film expert clowns are giving him the benefit of the doubt, despite it wasn't his fault and all these different things. But
no, if Luka was really going to do that tonight, I would have not watched.
If he
was going to pull out the positives of Zach Wilson, I told him last night as soon as I did it, I was like, dude, I am not watching. I am not giving him any sort of praise.
Because it's not going to be sustainable. Because
it's not even that it's not sustainable. It has no effect on how bad the Jets are. Because they don't deserve to be talked about positively anymore.
No, of course.
We were too nice. Let's be honest. We were too nice about them. They deserve to be ripped.
And like my thing is too, is I saw Luca was talking about like film experts and shit. I saw a breakdown of the incomplete pass to Garrett Wilson and how elite of a throw Zach Wilson was.
I'll tell you this right now.
Giant fans got ripped for being excited over Jalen Hyatt and the incomplete pass, but no, it's okay with Zach Wilson.
I'll tell you this. They had a right to be ripped, but the Jets fans should also be ripping on Zach because they know like down in your heart, it's his play is not sustainable. Like Connor Hughes or Brian Costello said. When Zach has a good game, he always makes that one bad play that's costly. You go back to the Chiefs game, he fumbled the snap. The Raiders game, when he wasn't that bad, he threw an interception. So it's like you're going to get a bad version of Zach Wilson.
There's also those simple throws that nobody talks about. Like, remember the...
Of course, why bring up the simple throws when you could just, be positive?
Well, I mean, also, like, you remember that throw last night that was Dak out of the Dalvin Cook out of the backfield?
Yeah, he threw over him.
Yeah.
Can't keep
overthrow.
But I also would have fired this coaching staff at the end of last season.
Believe me. Like, they're like, who's going to come here? But you know what? Try your hard.
Let's be honest. Luca's been wanting Salah gone since that Patriots game in 2021.
No, not necessarily. I know Alex is saying that, but I ripped Salad because he said the Jets played their tails off when they got blown out like 53-13, 54-13 to be correct, and that's when Zach Wilson got hurt and they got blown out, and Javelin Guidry was celebrating a breakup down 40 points. But go on with the comments.
That's right. They're so easily. It's the Jet culture. They are so satisfied by the smallest victory. Here. You know what? This was the chance of them winning anything last night. Went to that. Let's do it again. Right here. Went to that. And for one more time, right here. Went to that.
And even the time he was strip sacked, I know people are going to blame Becton, but Zach Wilson was just patting the ball like patty cake. If you're happy and you know what, clap your hands. Like, go on with the comments.
Because
I want to get to the wheel, and I want to get to the wheel. Then I'm going to do like my piece. My piece on.
Luka still got anger.
My anger has I'm angry right now, but my anger developed into sadness to be like, holy shit, we're out of the go on. I'm sorry.
Daniel Hackett is the Lion from the Wizard of Oz. John Mayer is the type to make Shane trade down from a QB, but I think if they do not take a QB next year, I'm actually not going to be happy. But we'll take a QB, no choice. I know Ralph Vecchiano came out with an article, but I have suspicions about him being on Mayer's payroll. Luka, and if y'all got Lawrence, would things be that much different? Hackett is
Oh yeah, it would. Oh, I'll tell you why, Jacob. The first round pick, the first overall pick, the idea of Trevor Lawrence. Remember us Jet fans were talking about it. First overall pick brings a head coach, a big money head coach. Imagine you get somebody like, in theory, Matt Campbell. He says, you know what? I'm going to get Trevor Lawrence. We're going to get a general manager, but we could have had a better head coach. That's all I'm saying. Number 2 overall pick didn't do shit for us. And still has.
Giants take Caleb or Drake and give the Jets a first rounder and a second rounder for Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Use 2 other second rounders. That sounds good to me. Yep, Zay Jones was arrested on domestic battery. Actually, a typo. The Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz. Well, yeah, I mean, but Saquon Barkley pick. Yeah, it was sport Eli. Mara loves Jones for some reason. He treats Jones like he's his Make-A-Wish son.
Is that because you think that's out of guilt for not developing him and putting pieces around him? You think that's out of guilt?
Probably.
Let's see. John, don't look.
They're actually losing by 1, but it's competitive, so they still have a chance to win.
I'm not mad at the Knicks, Jacob.
He's right. We still have time.
Yeah, we still have, that's right, Hayes. I'm sorry. We still have time.
Fixing the line would have helped you. Yep, I agree. Afram says, to be fair, all players celebrate when they score regardless.
No, it's not about the celebration. It's the knowing when to celebrate. If you're winning, go ahead. Do a celebration. I could care less. If you're losing by 30 or 40, you should just look like you're embarrassed.
The Giants celebrated an interception yesterday down like
Moneyball. If anyone's ever watched the movie Moneyball, when Billy Bean, this is the actor Billy Bean, when he came down into their locker room and
threw shit.
Shit, he turned off the boombox and whatnot. He said there was like a pin drop. It should sound like that. That's what losing sounds like. That's what it should sound like with these clowns.
Let's get to the wheel. And then I'll finish up on Salah and then go into Joe Douglas and everything, because this is
right. A mess. But anyway, Alex was going to say the same thing. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what the Giants are, but I will say that a lot of those players will not be here next year. But we have the wheel. We have the famous wheel. So here are the entries, folks. We have the offense was moving the ball.
That's what he said yesterday.
He said it yesterday.
He said that. He said that yesterday. He had the balls to say that yesterday. He had the balls to say that yesterday. But how many points did we score? And how many touchdowns did we score, John?
No touchdowns. No touchdowns since that Giants game.
All field goals.
Yep.
Self-inflicted wound.
There's another one. Yep. Go ahead. Keep it running.
We have to get better.
Yep.
We're gonna get better.
We're gonna get better. Yep.
There's an extra one. The schmuck is blitzing.
Schmuck is blitzing. That's right. Thank you, Armand.
This is my favorite one, guys. And not because I like the certain item. Everyone has their hand in the cookie jar.
Yep, that's right. Their cookie jar. That's right. Yep.
He would like a few of them back.
Yep.
It's not on one person.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody around him, Zach, has to be better.
Yep.
I plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. Yep.
He's actually playing pretty well.
Yep.
We battled.
We
Oh
battled.
yeah,
That's
that at
one.
the Seahawks game.
We
in the
battled.
Seahawks
Yep.
game.
And lastly, they played their tails off.
Hold on. You forgot one. You forgot one more important one.
Okay. All right.
Gotta watch the tape.
Gotta
Gotta
yeah, we
watch
gotta go
the tape.
back and look at that. And I
Gotta
got
watch
another
the
one
tape.
to add that he said yesterday, like a clown.
Mhm.
After you say, gotta go back and look at the tape, he said, "We'll try again." What are we playing? Pinball?
Sounds like he's at a claw machine.
We'll try again.
Like it's not something you just put a quarter in and everything.
Armin says the Jets need to learn from me to keep their hand out of the cookie jar.
What is the cookie jar filled with barbed wire?
Yeah, probably.
Well, credit. Oh, give them credit. Yes.
Yeah. Praising
Give
the
the-
other team.
Give
That's
the
what it is as
give
well.
the and then parentheses said team credit.
Mhm.
Give them credit. So we have 16 entries. Also, let me.
All right, let's spin it. How many times? 4. I feel like 4 is a good number just because it's 16.
All right. Yeah, 4. Let's see. Or you could do like 4 downs.
Yeah, 4. There we go. There we go.
4 downs.
Yeah, all right.
Remember-
4
remember
downs of
there's-
excuses.
There's
Let's
always
go. Spin the wheel.
there's always a punt.
Ready?
All right, ready? Round and round the wheel goes. Whatever excuse, nobody knows.
Self-inflicted wound.
Woo!
All right.
Give him a
All
clap.
right. Good job.
So first down. There must have been a penalty because it was a self-inflicted wound.
Yep, self-inflicted wound. There it is.
Holding offense number 87.
All right, here we go. Next one.
Round and round the wheel of excuse goes.
It's not on one person.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
not
I'll tell you. I'll
Can't
tell you
blame the
why.
quarterback.
I'll tell you why that selection was perfect. Because I mentioned the holding penalty. It's not on one person.
That's right.
Not at all. All right. Third down.
Round and round the wheel goes. Whatever excuse, nobody knows.
Give them
Give them
credit.
Give some credit. Yep. Give the
They
other
must have
team
got a
credit.
sack on that play.
They must have had a great play. All right, we're going aggressive at 4th down.
Fourth down.
Yep.
Let's go.
Round and round the wheel goes. Whatever excuse, nobody knows.
We're gonna get better.
We're gonna get better. That's it. That's it. We're gonna get better. We're so close to the Schmuck is blitzing, but we're
We
gonna
literally were. We were almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost
Yeah,
there.
Jacob saying first excuses, second excuses. John, are we going for it? Yeah, we were going
Well,
for
we
it.
went for it. Yeah.
I'm glad if anyone found that enjoyable, that was pretty
To relate to this comment though, how did you guys think the offensive line played yesterday? Because I heard some people say yay, some people say no.
For the most part, protection held up. To be fair.
Armin wants one more spin for good luck.
Okay, screw it. Let's do it. You know
Yeah,
what?
this show's a disaster right now.
Yeah, it's a disaster anyway. Anyone thought they're getting analysis? That was not the place tonight. Go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Round and round the wheel goes. Whatever excuse,
Nobody
nobody
knows.
Everybody has their hand in the cookie jar.
We got the hand in the cookie jar. That's right.
Where do I begin with the New York Jets? I know I've spoken pieces, but where do I actually begin? Where do we start this story? Because I will mention, I know I had a rant on week 1 last year, and Alex is going to say I wanted Salah fired in 2021. Not true, but I know he was exaggerating. But anyways, this is so reminiscent to last year, and we've been saying it for the past few weeks. It's not only the script in terms of how bad the offense and the quarterback play has, where the defense is constantly left on the field, but it's the coach constantly buying time. He said, "We'll try again." It's like he's Aaron Boone now, John. He's Aaron Boone. Those two could be like best friends for all we know. Those two could be best friends.
Two
Like
peas in a pod,
2 peas in a pod. As
They
you're
have to
absolutely
go
right.
get their ice cream after the game. Yep.
2
That's
peas in
like-
a pod.
that's like
Say anything like that. But he feels like he's buying time. Like he's like, oh, we're gonna get better. Remember he said about the offense a couple of weeks ago. We're gonna get better and all this different stuff.
Yeah, we're going to get better. We were close.
How much time do you need? Like most NFL offenses are ready to go at this point in the season. It's week 11 we're about to head into now.
Yeah. Mhm.
Week
We're
11. Week 11.
Can we? All right. Can I say this? And this is relating. I'm gonna put now. This is relatance, of course. I would not pull it out, but it's not relatance. Let's list the teams that have their first year offensive scheme. Ready? And are doing better. Right.
Okay.
Well, the Patriots. That's a
Yeah,
lateral thing. That doesn't count. The Ravens.
better.
Fucking
Better.
one of the best passing offenses across the NFL.
Well, I mean, if you want to consider it this, but Press Taylor has the Jacksonville one. How about this one? From the 2013 Washington Redskins tree. The Houston Texans.
Way better.
Ooh, definitely better.
They're
With
not even
a rookie,
elite. They're not even talented elite wise.
with a rookie quarterback.
Let's try this one.
Proof.
You guys will love this one. Luca literally brought this up on the stream. We did it against the Chargers. Ready for this one, guys? The Indianapolis Colts.
Better.
The Colts.
I'm not going to say the Titans. First year offensive scheme. Let's see. No, the Broncos are shit. Well, I mean, if you want to factor in the Raiders, if you want to. If not, then that's
They look like a manageable offense, to be fair.
okay. How about Sam Howell's Commanders?
The fact that they're putting up points is amazing.
They're better.
Brian Schottenheimer, Mike McCarthy's Cowboys.
Better.
Putting up points.
Okay. Moving forward. John mentioned it. I think they're not the first year offensive coordinator, but Tyson Bagent, the rookie quarterback.
Better.
Let's see what else. I mean, Dave Canales, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They're better.
With Baker at
Baker.
quarterback. I mean, this offense is still terrible, but you could still kind of relate. The Saints.
Better.
Let's see what else. Green Bay, we already passed over. I mean, Arizona put up probably a little bit more points than the Jets, but that's not too relatable. We have enough teams to consider.
You forgot to mention Josh Dobbs with the Vikings, new quarterback. A
Yes.
guy who John mentioned in his rant wasn't even there a week and still won the Vikings game.
The biggest one for me was when yesterday morning, right? We were about to do our show. So I went to bed late. I got up at around 8:30 a.m. and I'm like, I got to do my preview. So I logged everything in, and then I see Armin's tweet in the chat. And then I'm like, wait till Luca gets up and I tell him, because I wasn't going to wake him up. And then I'm like, Luca, all I'm going to say is you're going to be pissed. And yeah. And then I heard, because Luca's on the top bunk, I heard Luca, he's like, this fucking team. And he rolls over in anger.
It angers me, but it doesn't surprise me what they did. Carson Wentz, hey guys, what are you going to offer me? Hey dude, just go somewhere else. We love Zach Wilson too much. I have never seen an organization gloss over one. It's like they have to save face, not only for themselves, but this little fragile, egotistical.
It's like they want to keep
egotistical little bastard of a quarterback.
Because guys, we can't hurt feelings, okay? We don't
Can't
want
hurt his feelings,
We don't want
guys.
to hurt feelings now.
But go on, Alex.
I mean, like, what was I going to say, though? It's like the Jets, and this is going to sound so correct to you guys. The Jets are trying to keep it a secret that Zach Wilson's a bust. It's like the NFL doesn't know that already.
You're not telling us anything new. If you're not telling us anything new, but Robert Saleh, let's go back to Robert Saleh here. The New York Jets last year, as I said, the script is the same. Only the collapse is happening faster, which is worse. And that's why, John, me and you have come to the evaluation, as most fans also have as well, why fans are giving up season tickets, why they're not going to games this year, why fans are giving up tickets for the Friday game. We have realized that this team is...
But that's okay. The Johnson, particularly Woody Johnson, is going to spend his time at Saturday Night UFC.
I'm glad he can.
Put him in the ring. I hope someone knocks him out. Go ahead. Put the heavyweight in there.
What are we going to put Tyson Fury against him?
Well, that's boxing. But
that's boxing.
You know what? I'll pay to see that. Tyson Fury against Woody Johnson. Hey,
But
that's
the
the
point-
event. Put it in the parking lot. I'll still watch it.
The point is, the Jets have the same script as last year, not only with the quarterback, but the coach justifying losses and excuses and trying to give credit to the other team, like a certain Yankee manager named Aaron Boone. If you realize Boone is a bad manager, so like I was caught off guard by Trey Wingo saying that Robert Saleh is a very good coach. Now we're changing the definition of very good.
Mhm.
It's now the standards for the Jets have completely shrank.
Right.
If that's even a word, shrank, whatever. But again, last season, the Jets, red zone issues, mostly bad quarterback play, defense getting tired, defense starting to blame the offense, finger pointing, locker room possible issues, inept play calling, all this different stuff, right?
Mhm.
And that team lost 6 games in a row. Yet nobody was fired except Mike LaFleur and John Benton. The head coach should have been fired because you know what happened? You know what happens with good head coaches? You know, there are head coaches who are
They don't lose 6 in a row.
right. Not only do they don't lose 6 in a row, they don't lose the important game, should I say? But there are the coaches that are the motivators, like the Dan Campbells of this world who are very rah. But the difference between Dan Campbell and Robert Saleh is he galvanizes his team through adversity. Robert Saleh can only galvanize his team when the team does good. You realize that. And now I'm going to pull out the headset. Do you remember, John, what Jet coaches, this can be an easy answer, recent memory, who used to do this on the sidelines?
Adam Gase.
Not only Adam Gase, but Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles, yeah, he did too.
And in truth, Robert Saleh is very reminiscent of Todd Bowles. Not only does he make excuses and say, I got to watch the film and all this different stuff, his teams do not come to play when the games mean most.
Nope, they don't.
You talk about last week against the Chargers. You talk about this week against the Raiders. The team is undisciplined.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons why I compare him to Todd Bowles.
Here's the best one. Luca, they had a bye week to prepare against the sorry Giants. How many penalties they take in that game?
Damn, I can't remember.
I could look it up.
I believe it was 10, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And it's what nobody says.
Mhm.
It's not just the penalties; it's also the time they come. How about the punt penalty?
I said it. I said it just to now.
Offside.
9 penalties for the Jets.
Sorry, 9 penalties, not 10.
I mean, this is so reminiscent to the Todd Bowles era.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're gonna go back to the losing games. They lost 6 in a row. And Robert Saleh was talking about, nobody, like, he gave all these excuses. And, some people won't watch the press conferences. Honestly, if you don't watch the press conferences, you'll actually live longer and you'll be smarter. Your brain will develop more if you don't watch the Saleh press conferences.
I feel anyone that has to sit there and watch press conferences, any of those beat reporters lose brain cells when Saleh talks at this point.
And going back to those games again, Robert Saleh talking about, I know it's hard to see. I'll be honest, I have the same feeling I do right now as I did as after the Seahawks game, where we were just flat out fucking eliminated. Like, I literally today wanted to compare the scenarios between. I watched the Let's Talk Jets stream from week 17 against the Seahawks and the aftermath of it and the videos they made and all the stuff that was, up in there for the content. Yet again, it's the same goddamn feeling that I have because we have questions at quarterback. We have questions with the head coach, and it's the same questions. Robert Saleh has not made any development as a coach. He cannot galvanize his players. He doesn't yell at his players because I don't know what reason he gave. He's like, oh, why yell at players who play a child's game for King's ransom? He said that line in his rookie year. I'm like, dude, you're so out of it. But I just can't with this coach anymore, man. Like, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, you know what? Maybe with Rodgers, he'll grow. His time management is still horrendous. I mean, the excuse for the timeouts, he blamed the referee. How do you not call a timeout with 7 seconds running down the clock? And that clown on the radio by the name of Joe Beningo, who still somehow is getting appearances on WFAN, like he's still relevant. His takes are old, by the way. Playing, the Jets, they got the refs screwed them. Can we take some form of responsibility without giving out excuses? Like, Joe, I'm going to be honest with you. you're a humble human being. You're a longtime fan. I get that. I know you're good buddies with Robert Saleh, but please, for Christ's sakes, don't act like you're on his payroll, please. To be coming out and making stupid ass statements like that. For Christ's sake, hold the head coach accountable, please. But I said at the end of last year, I said this coach needs to go. The most important element, it wasn't even the quarterback position. It was the team did not play for him when the games meant most. That was it. I point to the Jaguar game. I point to the Seahawk game. And I said I wanted him fired. And people said, all he needs is a quarterback. All he needs is a quarterback. Well, we got that quarterback. Unfortunately, that quarterback ended up getting hurt 4 plays into his Jets career. And Saleh continues to justify losing and all that. That's why I want him gone. And the injury management is inexcusable. That goes to all level of Jet management. That's not only on the coach. That's also on the general manager. This is a big comment right here. This has to do with the quarterback position, and this is where I'm going to transition to the general manager, where he should absolutely be fired. The best thing says, yep. Week 18, the Jets were scared, petrified, timid of playing Zach Wilson in a meaningless game against the Miami Dolphins.
Right.
His psyche was so broken that they didn't want to play him. They told him, go read a book on a beach somewhere. There's a lot of Jet fans who did that in Miami, and then they came back to New York in the freezing cold. But
we did.
Yeah, we were. I actually, you know what? I'll be completely honest. I bought tickets for that game originally because we all went down to Miami. We had a fun time, but I couldn't even sell them, to be honest. I only sold so many tickets. I must have bought like 8, and I only sold off like 3 or 4. That's the truth. So it was money lost in the end of the day. No return on the investment, regardless. That was ridiculous. But getting to the general manager. And I know there's a lot of Jet fans who go goo gaga over Joe Douglas. He's built such a good defense, all these different things. The offensive side of the ball remains a question mark every single season. Every single season. The offensive, John, we have to talk about every single year. Is the offensive line going to be good? Is the offensive line going to be good? There's no been consistent offensive line. Meanwhile, you go to teams like the Ravens, the Eagles, who build offensive lines consistently.
Yep.
The Eagles had a constant offensive line for I want to say like 3 years. 3 years with guys like Samelo, Jordan Mailata,
Lane Johnson,
Jason Kelsey, Landon Dickerson. Those guys were all part of the offensive line.
Brooks.
And they were constants. They were constants.
And we shit on Howie Roseman for certain things, but he knows how to draft a team.
Oh, yeah. Why couldn't Joe Douglas do that? But anyways, we talk about the offensive line every single year. Every single year.
Exactly.
It's 2020. First of all, let's go back to 2019. It was Kelvin Beachum, Kelechi Osemele, which was a Mike McCagnon trade, which was ridiculous.
How about Ryan Khalil?
You just got to my point. We signed a retired Ryan Khalil, and that was an epic disaster. That was a Joe Douglas signing, by the way. But he's going to get all the excuses because he was sitting on his chair while watching a 7-9 team. A 7-9 team that won meaningless games down the stretch. Right guard, it was Brian Winters, and the right tackle was Brennan Shell. Next year, it was Mekhi Becton drafted at left tackle, he still remains a question mark. Left guard, Alex Lewis, traded for like a 6, traded for him like for a 6th-round pick. He was like in below average.
He revolted against Adam Gates. Remember that?
Yep. That's why he was gone at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Had to take like a mental health break.
Mm-hmm.
Center, Connor McGovern, who's like average. Sometimes not consistent, but he's average. Right guard, Van Roten. Bottom team. Talk about basement shopping. That's where we went for the offensive line. We didn't draft a guard.
He played for the Raiders last night.
Yeah, he did. He did play for the Raiders.
He's actually playing pretty decent, but that's funny.
Right tackle, George Fant. Fant ended up having actually a not bad year at right tackle. Greg Van Roten was terrible, but they kept him another year, and then they benched him halfway through 2021. Connor McGovern signed to a 3-year deal. He's back with the Jets this year. He's unfortunately hurt. Alex Lewis, as John said, revolted against Adam Gase, or had a problem with him in-house. Jets took care of that. Mekhi Becton had a good rookie season. We moved to 2021. Were there any specific additions made to the offensive line? Let's see. They drafted Elijah Vera Tucker. But
would you consider this a move, Connor McDermott?
He was a backup.
Yeah, he was terrible depth though, to be fair. But anyways, going back to
Also in 2020, they drafted Cam Clark.
they drafted Cam Clark, who is basically a Mekhi Becton coach at this point. But going back to the 2021 offensive line, it was supposed to be Becton. It was supposed to be Elijah Vera Tucker on that left side, Connor McGovern, Greg Van Roten, and a right tackle in George Fant. What happens? Mekhi Becton ends up getting hurt, and the Jets end up lying about his prognosis, saying he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. You know what? He's gone for the rest of the season. That's why the Jets can't handle injuries. They never could handle injuries. So they move George Fant to the left side. Vera Tucker plays on the left side. McGovern. Greg Van Roten's benched through halfway the season.
Yep.
And then who is it right tackle? Forgive me.
Fant, wasn't?
No, I'm talking.
No.
It was Morgan Moses.
Morgan Moses. Sorry. Yep. They made the move to go get him. Yep.
Moses is actually playing a valuable role in Baltimore, by the way. But anyways, enough about him. 2022, we add more pieces. Laken Tomlinson, and also let's look at the offensive line as a whole. It was supposed to be Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, moving to right guard with Tomlinson left guard, Connor McGovern, and who was supposed to be a right tackle to open the season? Forgive me. Oh, that's right. I don't think we even drafted a right tackle or even made
He drafted Max Mitchell. He played later on.
Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to be a starter.
Yeah.
So if you get the point, there's always been moving pieces. There's never been constant starters.
No,
you're right. Mekhi Becton gets hurt. Laken Tomlinson, bust last year. Connor McGovern, average as always. Never has that killer instinct.
Yep.
Right guard, Elijah Vera Tucker, he unfortunately got hurt. He was actually moved to right tackle because of injuries on the offensive line.
Yep.
And the fact that they didn't draft the tackle.
No, they didn't draft.
They relied on Dwayne Brown.
They relied on a 38-year-old Dwayne Brown. That was the unfortunate part. With a torn rotator cuff. Let's go to 2023, shall we? Offensive line. And by the way, these offensive lines, they're not like ranked, top 5 or top 10, maybe in top 15. They're always either middle of the pack or way below average. And that's been the constant. 2023 this year. It was supposed to be Brown, Tomlinson, McGovern, Becton on the right side, Vera Tucker on the right side. Dwayne Brown is on IR, or was on IR. Now he's off. He's still dealing with the hip injury. Laken Tomlinson's been better, but not by much. He's not playing nowhere near his $18 million cap hit. Connor McGovern's hurt, but he was fairly average. The Jets didn't even start Tippmann, which was ridiculous. Elijah Vera Tucker gets hurt. And Mekhi Becton's been playing average to below average, to be honest, because he's allowed so many sacks. And you see, the pattern is offensive line guru lies, because this offensive line has been constant with moving pieces. There's no continuity. And that's what helps.
Don't worry, there's continuity with their coach, though. Don't forget.
The fact that the Jets cannot build an offense is like, they'll give the defense. We can give Joe Douglas credit for building the defense. That's great. But he said, he's the offensive line guru, building through the trenches. That's how you win NFL games. Well, we never have had and this goes under the coordinators, the coach, and the general manager for talent evaluation. We, as an organization, cannot build an offense. Cannot. Listen, we got Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, fine. They're studs, and we're wasting their career as of right now.
Yeah, I feel bad for them.
Corey Davis, I respect his retirement. I hope all is well. Dumb signing. Because every time he was out on that field, he was either dropping passes or getting hurt.
Or taking a penalty.
The Jets never gave Zach Wilson or whoever proper tight ends until last year with Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzomah. Uzomah's a big bust, by the way. He could go. He could be benched for the rest of the season for all I care, because all he does is drop passes and make penalties. Yeah. Wide receivers, Alan Lazard's been a big bust. We don't have a slot receiver. I got trading Elijah Moore away. I totally got that. I understood that because he was a clown and a cancer. But regardless, we failed to get a proper slot wide receiver or anybody who could be versatile among the inside or the outside to move Garrett Wilson for mismatches. We signed McCole Hardman. We traded him back. At 15, Broderick Jones was off the board. Darnell Wright was off the board. Peter Skoronski and Paris Johnson were off the board. Jordan Addison was available. Jackson Smith and Jigba was available.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers was available. No, we panicked into a Will McDonald pick who's completely useless.
Oh, McDonald.
Don't worry. I know Jet Smith said it earlier, but in the chat, but guys, he can jump over cars. Remember?
He can jump over cars.
Great.
And
Blake
we can go
Griffin
back. And if we want, Alex, you could share my reaction to the Steelers trading up for Broderick Jones. And I'll tell you why this offensive line disaster is worse than it actually is. Because you had a 39-year-old quarterback coming to the organization. While you were waiting for him, you should have scouted ways to try to better the offensive line. I get drafting Joe Timmon. You should have started him from day one. But another tackle should have been signed or drafted or traded up for. If Alex, if you want, please bring up the Jacob clip where I flipped.
Well, I will. But I'm saying you could have taken that. What was Warren selected in the 4th round?
Yes.
Package that up with whatever else you have, and then go up and get Broderick Jones.
We could have drafted Blake Freeland, who's currently starting for the Colts right now. And I'm not playing revisionist history. The Jets needed to draft a tackle. Instead, they were not reactionary or active. They were passive. Instead, panicked. So this is my reaction to when the Steelers. I knew the Steelers would trade up for Broderick Jones because there were rumblings before the draft. But no. Why have Broderick Jones?
Okay, let's play this thing.
Alex, I can't hear it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It should be better this time around.
Oh, damn it. Just wait. Steelers. Oh, no. The Steelers traded up. They're going to take Jones.
No.
I knew it. Once I knew the Steelers were trading up, I'm like, yeah, they're going to take Jones. And Jones has been a factor on the right side. The Jets cannot build an offensive line ever.
Never.
And they still haven't. Under this O-line guru. Like how many years do we have to wait for a proper offensive line? Years.
Who was the last good offensive lineman on this team? Nick Mangold?
I mean, sure. But I'm talking like as a group. I know
as a group.
The 2015 offensive line was okay to solid. That's something you can live with because we had Mangold, we had Carpenter, Brian Winters, Giacomini was a penalty machine. Who cares? And the last year of DeBrickashaw Ferguson. If you really want to go back to a real offensive line, go back to 2009, 2010 when that was a fucking unit and everybody was scared of them. But we don't draft offensive lines anymore. And
no, we don't do that.
How many times are we going to be playing the cycle with this offense? Realistically, that's what Joe Douglas has done a bad job of. He's also done a bad job with Zach Wilson. He drafted him. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really care whether they drafted Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. To be fair, both have sucked, but the Jets have just done such a bad job with him. And who thought it was a realistically good idea to pair a rookie OC with a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback? Whose genius was that?
Okay, I wouldn't know.
You're not the coach, Luca.
But I'm not the coach. I'm not the general manager either. Those are what the homers say. But Joe Douglas needs to go. Joe Douglas needs to go, and it's not even just for the roster's sake. This team has not fielded a winning record under him.
No,
not even a playoff team.
What I will say about this, two giant goofballs, I think the Jets have won too many games.
That's true. We can't get a top 4, top 5 draft quarterback right now. We always try to say, we want to get the best quarterback. We can't.
This is kind of like part of it. I mean, I'm not going to say it's all of it, but I mean, Rodgers coming did kind of get Lazard for $11 million and then Cobb, which was what, $7 million.
Well, good. Then why didn't we get an offensive line?
Well, I mean, yeah, what I'm saying is like that, and you got the wide receivers coming in. I mean, yeah.
Were we really going to believe that Randall Cobb should have been the starting slot receiver? He wasn't, and he's been.
He built the Polish army.
Yeah,
with what money you had to go sign all those. Well, I mean that was what you said. It was what, $18 million. What's Lazard? 10 or 11 mil?
Lazard is $11 million. The Jets also
what about
didn't
Cobb?
Cobb was. Let's check the numbers on that. Randall Cobb, the useless Randall Cobb, who's currently inactive. McCall Hardman was also $5 million.
Dan Feeney.
Oh Jesus, Dan Feeney was he was a depth piece, but he was bad whenever he's played. Let me look up the contract. I want to say that was $5 million too. Maybe
Vinny
I'm
says
wrong.
that 2009, 2010 is the best O-line best Jets O-line he's ever seen in his life.
Oh, I completely agree. Those were maulers. $3 million in Randall Cobb, but yet we didn't draft we couldn't take an offensive lineman or anything like that. But at the end of the day, going back to this organization, and I don't want to take too long because I know we got maybe other stuff to cover. This organization is a disaster. No change will happen, unfortunately, because they've accepted the loser mindset that Aaron Rodgers is out and we can do all the losing we can. We can make all the excuses because we didn't have a quarterback. That's the same excuses they probably made last season. But at the end of the day, my opinion, no change is happening, even though it should. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of justifying losing. I'm tired of excuses. I'm tired of poor play. I'm tired of watching bad football. I'm tired of watching bad offense. Like watching yesterday, watching the Lions put how many points did they put up? 41?
The
41?
Lions, yeah, they're something like that.
43 or 41. I know it was over 40.
41, 40 points. We'll keep it at 40
Yeah,
points.
something over 40.
just for sake of argument. And
41.
that team rebuilt pretty quickly. Am I right? They rebuilt within like 3 years. How long does it take the Jets to rebuild? Is it trust the process?
12.
Do we have to?
So just to get a total, how many points did the Jets score against the Chargers?
6.
Okay.
They couldn't even score in garbage time, which is
That's
embarrassing.
14.6% of what the Lions scored on them.
Nice.
It's embarrassing. It's
Good job,
absolutely
man.
embarrassing.
So
With
proud.
the staff, with the talent on this team, it's embarrassing. Again, the lack of talent. But to my final point, Robert Saleh should absolutely be fired. I'm glad that fans are finally taking that in perspective and actually realizing how much of a fraud coach he is. He's a used car salesman.
Doormat.
Doormat.
Go ahead, Alex. Put it up. There you go. Doormat.
I mean, how can you not want Saleh fired at this point? But they know he's going to come back next year, unfortunately, because this is a loser mindset. They're going to say, "Oh, well, we didn't have our quarterback and this and that." This team is a loser mindset. They're not making the playoffs. They're not. Not only are we behind a lot of teams right now, our schedule doesn't get easier the next 2 games, and we don't have an offense that scores touchdowns. There are teams out there like the Lions, the Chargers, the Texans with a rookie quarterback that score multiple touchdowns a game. We somehow can only score 1.
I'm not watching Jets Buffalo. I refuse. Put my
the
foot
only
down.
team I see the Jets beating, maybe down this entire stretch, is they're not going to New England and beating them. That's for sure. Or they'll win a meaningless game. Is Atlanta. And maybe because Heineke's there, maybe they'll do a little bit better. But I want to answer Sunil's question. Well, if you guys lose to Carolina this weekend, I mean, not because Dallas would lose, but because we would get the first overall pick, and then another win would contribute to that. Who's more useless, Cobb or Lazard? Did you get the salary numbers?
$3 million for Cobb, Lazard near $11 million.
Cobb's still more useless.
Jets have been rebuilding for 54 years.
We can never take that next step, which is amazing because we can't find a quarterback.
So Mike in the chat, come on, Mike. Mike says, come on, it's not his fault. He was a good defensive coach with the 49ers.
What? Oh, stop. Get out of here. Not his fault. Get out, man.
Mike, I couldn't disagree.
You couldn't be more incorrect about that. You know why? Because they changed offensive coordinators, okay? The only thing they didn't really change is the quarterback. So if you want to bring Zach Wilson, fine. I've been blaming Zach this whole time. But Robert Saleh undersees this, okay? It is 100%.
He is Mike. At the end of the day, he is a CEO head coach. He has to see both sides of the ball, and he's not making changes because he's stubborn, and the coaching staff is stubborn under him.
Yep.
He has not produced a winning season. He makes excuses for losses, and he constantly compliments the other team. Nobody's galvanized. Nobody's really motivated by him. Nobody is. And that's why and his handling of the quarterback position has been ridiculous, whether it's I almost said Joe Judge, Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, whoever. Again, go ahead.
I will say this. Again, Brian Flores had a winning record.
Team is not disciplined either. Let me add that. Both sides of the ball, but it's not his fault.
Brian Flores had a winning record, and he had probably as bad of an offense as anyone. So and he was a defensive coach, and he got fired because he couldn't get any offense going, amongst other things. But from the football perspective,
I mean,
Sal's
Sean
not a
McDermott
doormat.
picked up Brian Daboll in his second year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was the second year.
I'm
The
pretty
first
sure
year,
defensive coordinators can pick decent offensive coordinators. Mike Rock says Jets. He said who's going to pick. He should have been fired after last year.
They been fired last year. They lost 6 in a row.
They lost 6 games in a row. The
They
team
choked.
didn't.
They folded when it mattered most.
The team didn't come out to play, man. It was in the most critical games. And he's very, like, if you compare the tenures of Todd Bowles and Robert Saleh, besides Bowles staying here for 4 years, their mannerisms, their coaching styles are eerily similar. He is the guy you want to be around when things are up and things are flying high. When the team is down, he has no answers. He could not answer last year why the team was lifeless against Seattle and Jacksonville. He cannot answer why his quarterback is being so bad. Instead, he blames it on everybody else. He said last year. They asked him, does Connor Hughes asked this. Does Zach Wilson stand too long in the pocket because he's afraid of throwing interceptions? Robert Saleh says, I don't have an answer for you. He cannot answer for his own team's incompetence. And his answer when he was asked, what do you do about the penalties? We got to play faster. Play faster. Play smarter. I mean, come on. Like, if you're an outside fan trying to see this, I understand, asking the right questions, but
Armin says Sal's not a doormat. He's a turd in the toilet bowl, just like the Giants and turds in the toilet bowl known as MetLife. He doesn't have no one else but that bum for a quarterback, but it's always
who's
the coach
that on,
that goes.
though? But that's on the general manager and Robert's. Like, if it is on Robert Saleh at the end of the day, if it's on Robert Saleh to make a change and he's not doing it, that's on him at the end of the day. And he goes out there and tries to make excuses for the quarterback.
But it's always the coach that goes, it's all good, fellas. I get your frustration. I do agree with you.
I have a feeling Mike just might be an opposing fan, asking the questions. I'm not going to rip too much on him, but I'm going to give him the reasons with passion.
I feel like for some reason, I feel like he's a Jets fan, though. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I feel like I've got this sentiment. But anyway, Chris Pratt is the reason why the Guardians can't guard the Galaxy. Careful how you talk about Zach. He will call your mom and take her out for a lobster dinner.
That's funny.
Clown. Zach's a true clown.
That's a good one, man.
The Jets. I said this on Twitter. I still would rather have Brian Daboll than.
Oh yeah,
easily.
I don't know.
I'd argue somewhat that he has more talent over here on the offensive side of the ball. But again, Joe Douglas hasn't exactly built an offensive line, which we go through questions year after year after year. But
as much as I disagree with Daboll on a lot of different things, he's doing something right, and that's tanking. So. Do we have a Bills rant? I don't think we would have a Bills rant coming.
We hate the Bills. Why would he rant about them?
Well, they're probably. I think Josh Allen threw another interception or something. I don't know. One thing I like about Daboll is when the QB makes a mistake, he lets him know on the sideline. Like that's what I was talking to my cousins yesterday, and they're Jeff fans. Yesterday, because I was in Staten Island for a party, and he's like, Sal is better than Daboll, and my other cousin goes, well, I mean, he just kind of. He didn't say he babies them. He said the complete opposite or something along.
No, he's right. He babies them.
No. I'm talking about Brian Daboll.
Oh, okay.
He's like, his handling of the players, like screaming at them on the sidelines, is a little unnecessary. I'm like, I would rather my coach scream at them, like scream at Tyrod and scream at Daniel Jones and Evan Neal, than just be Salah and be like, hey, I'm your best friend. He's a Jets fan since. Yeah, so I was right. He's been Jets fan since Vinny Testaverde. Big difference is Daboll's.
We'll just share different viewpoints on Salah then. We agree to disagree.
Yeah. Big difference is Dabes is not afraid to rip his players.
Salah wants to give him patty cake and high fives. No, like Salah on the sideline when something goes wrong. Yes. Todd Bowles there. Exactly like he's a prototype of Todd Bowles. I'm telling you that.
But I will say I'll ask this question too. And give your final. Well, I mean, obviously, if you guys got anything else to get into, because I don't know if you guys touched on Nate Hackett too much or whatever.
He's terrible too. Fire him. They won't though.
Yeah, we said that. Yeah.
Let's just say this: propose a situation, right? And Armin's kind of coming with this with a lot of different segments and whatnot. Let's just say For some reason, Woody Johnson wakes up and says, I'm going to fire Robert Saleh. I'm going to fire Joe Douglas. Say they hire an in-house, or maybe they're contemplating hiring an in-house GM and bring in Nate Hackett back because Aaron Rodgers said so. Would you go with Aaron Rodgers and Nate Hackett knowing there's two sides of the coin that A, that's the way that you get fans in the building, and B, because maybe Nate Hackett's a lame duck coach? Or would you say Aaron Rodgers needs to go fuck himself, bring in another coach, a GM, all that other stuff? If you had to make that decision right now, what would you do?
Personally, I wouldn't want to. Not that I don't want to deal with Aaron Rodgers, but that's really what it's going to cause. Another garbage coaching. No, thank you. Sorry, it's not worth it. Unless you guarantee me he wins a Super Bowl for us, that's the only thing I'll take. But if you can't guarantee he's going to win it, don't want it.
And
I don't care if they lose. I don't care if they go to the playoffs. I don't care if they go to the conference game. I don't care if they lose in the dire seconds of the Super Bowl. He can't guarantee me it. Nope.
Yeah, and the thing is, as well, is like I know you guys have been big Rodgers guys and whatnot, but what if he goes out there, maybe next year or the year after, it says he's going to retire? Then you're fucked.
He could, yeah. I mean,
Honestly, I'm going to mention this, and I said this to Alex earlier. Next year, I think is going to be Rodgers' last year, no matter what, somewhat, in my opinion. So it's going to be a one-off year. They're not winning a Super Bowl with this head coach or this coaching staff. So if he says keep Hackett, I'm telling him, you know what, dude, you're better off retiring because we can't do that. So you might as well either sign a veteran quarterback, a proper veteran quarterback, whoever's available. Like, honestly, next year, the Jets could go out there and sign Kirk Cousins if they wanted to with
John
this
said over
team.
the phone.
What's that?
I said that's what John said over the phone.
Yeah, you could sign Kirk Cousins. I know he's coming off a torn Achilles, but he's, to be fair, he's rarely injured. You sign Kirk Cousins, and then you get moving with the rest of this team. And you know what? Here's another thing. Like, if Rodgers decides to retire, when you tell him to go screw off when you hire another head coach, like, obviously you need another playmaker. You draft a playmaker or a tackle with that first-round pick. You keep your assets for Kirk Cousins. You say, we're just going to sign you. We're going to build the rest of the team around you, and we're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to continue this for a couple of years.
I will say this as well.
Because we can't draft worth dick quarterbacks.
No.
Now, I know this is a certain beat writer for the Jets. He said, and the Broncos are currently winning the game. Also, what's up to Wampbag? I'll get some comments. Jets beat writer said that the Jets have a chance after what's going on tonight with the Bills.
No, they don't.
Mathematically, yes. Do I think
Realistically,
so? No. I agree with you. And I got to credit our buddy who we had on here about a year ago, Jeremy of Jets Chaos. Go sub to his channel. He's like, mathematically we're in this. Realistically, we're not. The season's over. And I got to say that too. He's one of the only content creators that are going out there and saying that. But I'll give credit to Jeremy for that one. No, I don't. The season's over. And the worst part of it is, and I mentioned about the Giants and the Jets in the situations. The Jets cannot tank because they've already won 4 games. They weren't supposed to be like. There was no way they should have drafted a quarterback next year or been in consideration because it was supposed to be Rodgers all the way, right? And trade away first-round pick for Devontae Adams, all the different stuff, offensive line, whatever. But we can't even tank properly because we've won too many games already. So we're just going to stick here and be mediocre while the Giants are getting their next quarterback of the future and hopefully rebuilding their assets around them with some money.
Don't forget, G Ladies paid $40 million a year for less than mediocrity quarterback. How do you?
They could draft. They could draft a quarterback easily.
I know that this is going to sound bad for most and outside fans. Daniel Jones, you keep him on IR as much as possible next year. You don't force him to come back. And then you draft Caleb Williams, you draft Drake May. And, with that being said, you let them play. And you get a competent backup in here. Like, don't sit here and say, we're gonna rely on this guy. Don't pull a Jets. Sign a backup quarterback and have a mentor. But I mean, the Giants discussion will be limited as far as this show goes, but I do want to get a couple comments. To be fair, Luca, you might still get a QB.
I would love Michael Penix or JJ McCarthy.
Michael Penix.
The
JJ
only
McCarthy.
thing I have to say on Penix is I'm a little scared of
Injuries.
the injury history. That is the only thing what scares me if I'm a Giants fan, which we can get into. We'll obviously have a lot more.
I just gotta do this real quick. But anyways, you also need a staff. You have to be 100,000% sure that this staff could develop a quarterback.
Yeah, you can't sit here, draft a quarterback, fire
you cannot
staff.
have a rookie OC. You cannot have a rookie OC or play
it's different if the quarterback's in his second year and then let's just say he's improved or whatnot, whatever the case is, and then you fire the staff and then year 3 you're ready to go. The Giants did that with Daniel Jones. How many other teams have done that? The Jets did that with Adam Gase, and Sam Darnold. So let's see what else. I'm about to sneeze, so give me.
God bless you, Alex.
It just went away.
I blessed him away.
Thank you, John. Sign Josh Dobbs. I think Dobbs gets a bag from that team.
I don't know if Dobbs in the QB2 wouldn't mind. Not a starter though. I want somebody better.
Yeah, Taylor's contract is.
I would still take Josh Dobbs as a backup.
I would. Do the Giants bring
absolutely. That's what I said.
Do the Giants bring Tyrod to back up the rookie QB? I mean, I wouldn't mind it. Tyrod's done well. So effectively, Daniel Jones is like Jacoby Ellsbury of the NFL. The Giants, he is.
For one thing, can I just say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Here are the quarterbacks next year in the free agent market. We already talked about draft a little bit. Kirk Cousins, here's your top 3 options. One of them's not. 2 of them are likely not to be starters. One of them is Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, Jacoby Brissett. Then you go to Tyrod Taylor, Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston, Drew Lock, Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew, Teddy Bridgewater, Tyler Huntley, Josh Dobbs.
Honestly, I would let Aaron Rodgers start next year. Realistically, I think he is going to be back next year.
Yeah, I do too.
And I would sign Josh Dobbs as a backup.
Or you could do that and draft a developmental QB either the second or third round and let him sit.
That's fine. That's fine.
Here's the thing, though. Again, it's not as cautious as you're doing with a first-round pick, but you have to worry. If you do envision that kid as the future, you have to wonder whether you trust the staff or not.
I don't trust it. Yeah.
True.
Right.
But if you do have veteran quarterbacks in there like Rodgers, obviously, on your roster, and you sign a guy like I think Josh Dobbs would be a perfect backup. Guy has a winning attitude. Guy just goes out and tries his hardest.
He's a pro's pro. He's a pro's
exactly.
pro.
That's the type of quarterback. And it doesn't have to be a Josh Dobbs. It could be anyone like a Gardner Minshew or a Jacoby Brissett, like you guys say. It could be one of those guys. We know who the pros are.
Of course.
But Afram has a question. He says, if Woody fires JD and Salah, what established GM coach is coming in? Keep in mind who calls the shots. Know the answer. I know what I want to hear what you guys say.
I understand.
I will say this, and this is not like head coach, even though it's kind of actually the same story. There is no such thing as a retread GM anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But and all these guys come from opposing front offices, unless you hire an in-house guy. But that's the worst.
That would be stupid. But anyways. To me, Avram, I get where you're coming from. I don't trust Woody worth of anything. I couldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, and I can't throw him. But anyways, you can't be afraid of change, in my opinion, in that aspect, because Robert Saleh has not done anything equated to winning at this point. His biggest thing on his resume is a failed quarterback, which is under his staff, not this part of this current staff, and also a part of the staff he hired, all rookie offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, whoever, and he's a failed quarterback, no winning seasons, 6-game collapse, and about to have another collapse soon as possible. Mm-hmm. So you have that. Joe Douglas, he's built a good defense. There's there's defense is fine. The offensive line is still in shambles, and his biggest question mark is the quarterback position. We all know we went in for Aaron Rodgers. We get that. He drafted Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, great. Mm-hmm. Sauce Gardner, great. But outside of that draft, I'm not saying he has to have a star-studded draft all the time, but the biggest question mark is the offensive line, and it still remains a question.
Now, Luca hit it nail on the head.
I went through it all. I went through all the guys they had, and I'm like, let me ask you this. If you had to fire one of them, you can't fire both. Would you keep Robert Saleh or Joe Douglas? But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the flaw after that. I'll tell you the flaw after that.
If I had to pick one,
If you had to pick one,
can I simply pick neither?
dude, you can't pick neither. I'm sorry.
There's no or.
Just for
There's
this
no or
option.
option?
Just for the sake of the question.
And we're getting rid of Sal gets rid of the whole coaching staff.
That's correct.
I'd get rid of Joe Douglas.
You would get hold on a second. Hold on. I asked you who would you rather get rid of, Sala or Douglas? You pick Joe Douglas?
Yep.
I get rid of Sal, honestly.
Dude.
I want both gone. It's not like
I agree with you there.
You heard what I said.
I agree with you, John. I agree with you, but I'm gonna tell you why your answer is wrong, in my opinion. If you have to fire one of them, because the problem with the Jets in the 2010s decade was they arranged marriages. Do you really want Robert Saleh trying to find your general manager like Adam Gase?
No. Okay, let me be very clear. I want both guys fired.
No, I agree, but I was talking about the question.
Times.
I was talking about the question itself, based on the question. We
No.
know.
I don't want that happening, but I'm saying who's done worse. I can't. I want to say Joe Douglas because he's been there longer.
No, I understand, but I'm saying, like, who would you rather fire? That's the question. It's not about who's done worse. Who would you rather fire? Like, would you rather? I'll tell you this. I'll explain the benefits and the.
Believe me, I know what the benefits of firing both would be.
No, it's not. It's not both. I'm saying.
No, I know what you mean. I'm saying I understand what you mean with the benefits. I understand what they are of firing Saleh by himself or firing Douglas by himself. I get what you mean. I completely understand. I'm just saying, and for perspective, again, I stress is enough. Fire both, but
Might need shirts.
I think we need to get him off the field shirt. I don't know
We
how
need
many
both.
times
You got to put John's face on it and say, "Get him off
the field."
Yeah, something like that. But again, I'm going to re-ask you the question. You can think of the answer. Who would you rather fire? It's not about who's done worse. Who would you rather fire? Like, if you had to pick one, I know we want to fire both of them.
I don't want to. I really want.
You got to answer it. You got to answer it. Everybody else is answering. Just you have to answer it for me, dude. For me. If you had to fire one,
Saleh. By what you're saying, Saleh.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I wanted. That's what I was hoping for. Because if what's up to Ron?
Yeah, what's up to Ron? You had a bad staff. Has to be a group when people are asking who would you rather fire. That's a good question. Fire everybody of all New York sports team staff.
That's
except
correct.
for basketball and hockey, but
Quick shout out because I know Jose's in the chat, guys. Tomorrow on 5:00, I will be on his channel. So make sure you guys go check it out. We will be discussing whatever he has in store for us. And make sure to go sub up to his channel if you guys have already not. So I will be on at 5:00 tomorrow. So
about the schmuck is blitzing shit.
Yes.
Later, Barbara. John's health would be the biggest benefit if both get fired through the content. The channel might go down in the Dubstep Angry Rants. Well, he's still got the Mets, remember. Between the two, you get rid of the coach.
Yeah.
Luca confused Feebles 4 brain cells. With
Brad, did you wake up from your nap? Nice job. If I have 4 brain cells, Brad's got like.
Armin. I think Armin said that he'd get rid of Joe Douglas.
And he said Rodgers becomes the GM.
I can't.
You trade for Bakhtiari then.
Oh my! Don't do that.
No.
I can't get behind Rodgers getting behind a general manager because if Rodgers becomes the general manager,
New York Packers.
If Rodgers becomes the general manager, we're all hypocrites because at the end of the day, we all criticize the NBA for being too player heavy and too player controlled. That would actually be a part of like an NBA.
You know what? I would not mind him being an offensive assistant or quarterbacks coach or.
No, I agree with you.
I would definitely allow him to help that. Okay. In the future, but look, that's.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you there. I was just talking about general manager.
Oh yeah, I would. I'm not ready to give a player a general man. No, that's not.
That's
not for that.
That's obscene.
A lot of Joe Douglas answers, to be honest. I'm surprised.
Again, the problem is the Jets had arranged marriages before. They fired Mike Tannenbaum and kept Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan did not get along with John Idzik. They hired Todd Bowles before. No, they hired Mike McCagnon, and then off of the belief of Charlie Casserly or whoever, they hired Todd Bowles, which was not McCagnon's decision. And they were at odds. Adam Gase and Mike McCagnon were at odds because Christopher Johnson took word from freaking Peyton Manning.
Then
And-
Le'Veon Bell.
Well, yeah, Le'Veon Bell, and then Adam Gase somehow pulled a power struggle, somehow won the
He
power
won a
struggle,
power struggle.
and then then Mike McCagnon got fired. So you know where this is going.
Right. As far as this goes, 2 giant goofballs per spot track. I don't think that's the scenario because the dead cap goes 20 million plus 2 separate years. Vikings will sign Dobbs. I'm sure Cousins is a torn Achilles. Yeah, that's what the situation is. So, Luca, you okay with Hackett as head coach if Sal is fired?
Hold on, give me once. No, I'm not okay with Hackett if Sal is fired. That would be dumb. That would be really, really dumb. And if Aaron Rodgers insists that, tell him get out of here. We need to hire somebody from the outside if you're going to be successful.
Afram, we usually do our call-in shows once every month at the end of the month. So this month it would be the 26th, which is funny because I may, and I'm not promising anything, I may or may not go to the Giants game that day for the credential stuff. May or may not.
But
everyone-
after when that call-in show happens, we encourage all you guys to call in.
Yeah.
I like hearing you guys.
Yeah, and in the questions too. Is everyone okay with Hackett? If
No, Armin, no, we are
I am
not.
not doing.
We
We
are
are not
not.
doing the.
It seems like Armin's been the biggest advocator.
It's not even the advocator. He knows. He thinks it's going to happen. Listen,
No, I
I'm
know.
not-
It's like Armin is basically like you're at a friend's house and you have a bunch of friends over and everybody's like deciding what they want to eat. And then you're like, is everybody okay with pizza? That's what I think Armin is doing right now.
What a
Oh.
guy, Armin.
Hopefully Seattle goes on a losing streak, so our second pick can be a little early. That's that I forget. Yeah, with Leonard Williams, that trade. But I want the Panthers to win like 2 more games. I got into a fight with someone on Twitter about it. I'm like, the Panthers will win 2 more games. Just believe it and make it happen. Sean Payton might be figuring it out. Might be a little too late. Just need to hire Ben Johnson. He has Goff looking like a top 10 quarterback. Who cares about Feeble's health? I will die on the hill if
Well, you know what,
Salah is
Brad?
fired.
I hope you gain -9 brain cells.
I will die on the hill
Just kidding, Brad.
if Salah is fired. Hackett becomes the head coach.
Armin, I understand where you're coming from to appease Rodgers, but at the end of the day, that cannot happen.
Sure.
What's up, Evan? Nah,
What's up,
don't
man?
want that. Yeah, but also on the poll thus far, the Giants actually have taken the lead at 62% for being in a worse spot. Which I will say this though, truthfully, and I've been trolling Luca for the past few days. The Giants are actually in a better spot than the Jets.
They have a better future
because the Jets. I'm not saying this to rag on the Jets, but the Jets might be in the worst position in the NFL. Like you could talk about Belichick, you could talk about the Patriots, you could talk about all these different teams. Like the Bears, they still have a top 5 pick right now, or maybe even 2. So you could get a quarterback if you want, if you don't like Fields. So that's number 1. Number 2 with the Patriots, they still got a top. Let's see, the Patriots lost, so they're still top 4. I think they actually moved down to 3, maybe, with the Cardinals loss.
Well, Alex,
excuse me.
it's real simple why the Giants have a better future. They have the coach. They have a shot at the quarterback. They have the shot at getting Caleb.
Right, exactly. And again, even though I was against it before, that's right now what's the looks of turning around the franchises. And you get a year to basically, and again, bring in your own players. I thought they should have traded some players at the deadline, but that's the conversation we had another time. Now, actually, because Wampbag has a question, I wanted to ask Luca this, and Afram has a good question, so we're going to get to all your questions. I know John's candidate. You said you're tired of first-year head coaches. Who's the guy you're getting?
If it's really a big name hire, I would actually somewhat try to consider Jim Harbaugh, as Vinny was saying. If it's a first-time coordinator, I'm going with John's suggestion and Ben Johnson because truthfully, we've never hired a first-time offensive coordinator. We always hire defensive guys. But this guy also has to be capable of being a leader of men.
Right, and he'd probably have to bring in an experienced offensive coordinator, which again, that's still a tough tree to climb. Unless, well, can't bring over LaFleur. Like I don't know, because I'm just trying to think, like what experienced offensive coordinator would be available that I know of. Clint Kubiak.
Was he even that good?
I'm pretty sure the Vikings offense was like a high flying. I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure he was a offensive coordinator. Jesus Christ! Now he's the passing coordinator of the 49ers. He was the Vikings OC in 21. Let's take a look. I'm pretty sure they had a high flying passing offense. Stats.
There's one guy that I would. The only issue is he's a defensive coach. There's one guy I would definitely give another shot to being a head coach, but he's defensive. That's the only issue.
Is that Dan Quinn?
That is correct.
I mean, that would. Vikings, they were in passing yards per game 11th. So I don't know if they were on the same system, but Clinton Kubiak.
Bieniemy, maybe.
The enemy's another candidate. I've seen that throughout it. Jets will hire Ben Dover. Yeah, I think Ben Dover is a pretty good candidate.
Yeah, I heard he's doing
for
great.
experienced head coach, I'd rather go Sean McVay than Harbaugh.
That's if McVay ends up leaving. If he does end up leaving, I would jump lengths to get him.
Yeah. Then again, too, you might have another situation where a team fires a head coach, kind of like the David Ross, Craig Counsell situation.
Good.
The Cowboys lose early in the postseason again. Fire McCarthy. Do the Jets look at him?
Oh,
But they did look at him before.
I have a hard time. Like, I wanted McCarthy in the whole little Gase thing, in the Gase stretch of the coaches, but I can't really get behind McCarthy. I'm sorry, because there is a ceiling to him.
Yeah.
Drake May is Josh Allen prototype. Be super happy with the Giants to him like Caleb for Daboll. Would Belichick? I've seen this, and this is not obviously on Sunil, but I've seen like little theories come in about Belichick being the next Giants head coach. If I swear in Christ that if John Mara gets his little nostalgia back and fires Daboll for Belichick, who can't coach nor can he evaluate talent anymore.
No more.
I'm gonna lose it.
He
Would you
once
hire
was an excellent coach.
Stallions? Honestly, yeah, I mean, you might need it. This is another one. Jester Smith, I would want Brian Flores. He does not take crap from players.
Possibly.
That would be like a second defensive coach kind of look thing. You know, you mentioned the other one. So Angry Pinecone is a Mets fan, Jets fan, but not a Brooklyn Nets fan, afraid of coming down with bad kiss stress pun totally intended with the suck ass teams. Well, I mean, he's a Knicks fan, but they're going good right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, Sunil, you got the Cowgirls, the Mavs, and the Yankees.
The Yankees lose.
I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
Should we play the
Afram says, is there a guarantee? So I will say this, and then I guess some other comments as well. And then Wampag says that, how about Jim Harbaugh as a Jets head coach? Alex, if we have number one, are you definitely taking? I'm definitely taking Williams. That's no question in my mind. My thing is, the Giants need to, and I get it. This is not what some want. Daboll's seat gets hotter if you don't compete these next few games. Like, I want to lose, but I don't want to lose like 40-0. Look at the next three opponents. Yeah, because that will buy you another year and then buy you drafting a quarterback. You got the Commanders, you got the Patriots, you got the Packers. I'm urging the NFL to please take the Packers-Giants game off primetime and do me a favor, take that Christmas game off. I'm not watching Tommy DeVito versus Philadelphia and have to analyze that. Please take that off.
That's Alex's Christmas gift. You know, because
Ephraim says, who's Rodgers' backup next year?
I hope it's
we
like Dobbs.
This, but I like Josh Dobbs. I mean, that's my guy.
Let's see. That's over the cap. Okay, so they might have different results then. 26 is Sunday, same day. I'm driving back to Austin. Drop my son.
Oh, nice, man.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. I got a couple more comments to get to. Dallas isn't giving up Quinn anytime soon, but it's always good to dream. Yeah, I mean, I don't see Dan Quinn leaving. He has a hell of a defense over there. Wampag BNB is my second choice behind Ben Johnson. Let's see.
So Neil's talking about the Yankees.
What about the
He's
Yankees?
saying good things. Didn't your general manager just call Stanton?
Helaman
Listen,
bastard
that's
Stanton.
amazing.
I don't want to even get into them right now.
Wasn't it him that had the presser with the meeting?
He went on a little rage tangent and then started.
So Neil, you are a clown for that one.
He started throwing shit the other way at the reporters and basically talking about how it's a good process. I waited so many months for football season, and this is the shit I get.
I'm sorry, I can't.
So, what's up, Lou?
What's up, Lou?
What's going on, man? Men can show emotion, but you can't cry in your mommy's arms after a game and be a leader of men. I mean, like that I'm a little bit worried about because there was reports of like he was like going after like other players and shit, and then he does that. So that's number one. Number two is like, how is the New York media going to handle? How is he going to handle himself in front of the media? Because if he does that shit, he's going to get toasted. Like that's just it's the facts. Whether you're for Caleb Williams and all that stuff. Rodgers will be Zach Wilson's backup next year.
Not cool. Not cool. I see what you did there. Not cool.
Oh, yeah. I just realized that. John, you see Mendoza's comment. I saw them. John, you see them.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
It wonders to me if it's a joke or wonders to me if he actually hates the organization. What up, Lou?
What up, man?
My man. Jets should trade for Danny Dimes to take on his full contract.
No.
Yeah. Angry Pine Union with 3 more
Wait,
rings.
Now he's talking about the cowgirls, the 49ers whipping girls. That's who he's talking about, really? Didn't they spank you all 3 years in a row? Look at this guy trying to come at my teams. I mean, come on, get out of here.
I have a feeling Daboll is tanking. I see it in his body language last drive was they're trying to tank, not tank and hustle after giving the notion that DeVito was their guy. I think they're tanking. And then this was the original comment. Rodgers' backup next year is going to be Zach Wilson.
Ooh, not happening. Just that idea.
All of our problems are gone. We have a new hitting coach. That's okay. We'll still score like 2 runs a game. Manicast. Cowboys beat Tommy DeVito and think they're contenders again. Cowboys are the Niners and Eagles, bitch. Angry Pinecoat winner picker.
Yeah, I'll give you a postcard of my autograph. All right, you can kiss it.
I was about to say, I was about to say something along the lines of, I thought you were going to say you were going to mail her your boogers to him.
I'll put a little booger on the post stand.
Like the new hit. I don't know. Again, the whole Yankee thing. First of all, they hired him from Detroit, who was like the second worst hitting team in the AL. And whether the philosophy is going to kick him.
4th worst hitting.
Yeah. Problem with tanking is losing the locker room. Okay with losing. That's my thing. And I also have another comment to get to. Is like I don't want it to lose like good players. Like Dex, I don't want to lose him in like he's out in space somewhere. Xavier McKinney can fucking go. Darnay Holmes, Shepard, Slayton, they're all a bunch of losers. They get the fuck out of here. That's just my personal opinion. There's no need to keep them around. If they want to fight, they can fight like little fucking girls. He says he's gonna trash the postcard with a booger on it.
I mean, well, you're throwing away money, but that's okay. The Cowboys throw away money to useless quarterbacks too, so they're like the Jets almost.
If Zach Wilson was Rodgers' backup this year, what makes you think will be different next year? This is a Woody call. Yeah, definitely could be. Any final thoughts on the New York Jets?
No. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, don't do that. Alex is right. JETS, just end the season.
Or as Sunil would call them, the jest.
Yeah, the jesters, the clowns. They try to make you laugh, but they actually get you really pissed off.
Rowson has a history with New York Yankee minor leagues and did work with Judge Layton in his career in AA. A problem with that, Sunil, and my personal opinion on that is because I've seen that experiment before. Marcus Thames was a minor league hitting coach. Dylan Lawson was a minor league hitting coach.
Yep.
So I've seen that circle before. Who gives a shit about the locker room? McKinney's the only one complaining. Slayton can go. Shep can go. Dex is a professional. He won't get lost. Yeah. They got to put somebody beside him next season, but that's a whole other thing. They need to keep players that want to stay and play. Yeah. Yep. Found lost in the Jets. JETS suck. Yeah, that's essentially what it is. And I think these two would agree. Alex, you should play the Douglas clip. Well, I mean, I do have the original reaction to the Will McDonald pick.
Will McDonald? No.
I won.
Honestly, NFL
least I
needs a
wouldn't.
draft lottery, impacts playoff races for basketball. It doesn't affect playoff races really. You were saying, Luca?
I was gonna say I did win my pick 'em tonight, so I feel a little bit better.
Oh,
I told our good friend Brian, I like the under at 47.5. The total right now of the game is 24, I believe. It's 18,
All right.
15-8 if it's score, right?
That's 23.
Oh, 23. Sorry, I can't even do math right. Well, that's still good for me.
All right, let's.
Mov. Okay, all right, JETS chant. All right, JETS. I like that chant. What the fuck?
What?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Fuck off.
What?
John here looks like a turtle.
Will McDonald? No.
Fuck
What
you,
the
dude.
fuck was that? We picked a day 2 guy in day 1. Why? This is a joke.
Look, they're all jumping around. They're celebrating.
Celebrating for what? We're the same old fucking Jets.
Wow, he can jump over a car.
I just shocked that they went for the
Drafted
worst.
Jermaine Johnson last year.
They went for the worst
But
option.
basketball. That's what we know.
Why? What are we doing?
Oh,
You
he is athletic.
stupid clowns.
Production
this is a
75.
nightmare.
You know, I must say, as a little put in right here, Luca, you
Alex.
might want to pull out your Jets can. Did you call me, Luca?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh. Never finished shirt from Hayes. I heard voices. He's gonna do it, folks. He's gonna do it.
This is, you know what? I'm not even fucking wearing this hat no more. Fuck this team. God damn you idiots.
Oh my god, that wasn't even the pick I had in mind.
This is ridiculous, man.
McDonald had a farm.
God damn.
E-I-E-I-O.
He can take his fucking EIEIO to the fucking bank, all right? Because all he's going to do is cash in and do nothing for us.
As
As
of right now, he's better done edge rushers on the board if you're going to take one. Miles Murphy.
Oh, we good. You know what? We get the blob job of the hut Wawa Becton, and now we get EIEIO Mr. McDonald's, all right, with the fucking Big Mac.
Bro, can I get like a chicken? Yes.
Wearing it.
Oh, thank you, Blue City Empire Sports. I know we're down 4-0. Thank you. Let's pile on the more bad news. Come on.
Okay, let's try and think positively, right?
Positive? They took a day 2 guy in day 1. There's nothing positive, Donald. The Jets developing players, they don't really do that very well.
What is he doing? Is he gonna jump out a window? Is he gonna hit himself over the head with a baseball
Is it
bat?
time to take a bat to the Tostitos again, Alex?
Oh no. Not my bag. Don't do it to my bag of Tostitos.
It's going to be my bag because I deserve all the pain.
You gotta get it on screen, idiot.
Latest victim, bag of Tostitos.
Oh no.
Right.
So I did read up on our
This is
Will
my
McDonald
favorite.
EIEIO. You guys run a 4-3, right?
Yes.
He's fit for a 3-4. It's like Luca's trying to wipe all the dandruff out of his hair.
Do they not do basic scouting? Do they not fucking do basic scouting? What is basic scouting for? Seriously. They do all this little pre-combine scouting, okay? They do all the other fucking scouts, the player draft profiles is what they couldn't tell you that this guy was a 3-4.
No one could tell me otherwise. That was 100% a panic pick. That was like in it's like in fantasy football when you're down on the clock, you have some like you're battling through all these tough choices, and you picked a really shitty player who you could have gotten the next couple of rounds. Like you were down on the clock and just said fuck it.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly happy that night. Luca was sitting next to me. And we were watching the stupid Mina Kimes, Mike Golick Jr. broadcast. It was so dumb.
Field Yates was also on.
It was like a bunch of teenagers. It looked like fucking
amateur hour.
It was amateur hour. B, it looked like a knockoff version of Saved by the Bell. If Alex was live for the Daniel Jones draft, I can't imagine how that would have went. John looked shocked. Will McDonald.
I did look shocked.
E-I-E-I-O.
Will McDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
You know, John was right about that.
What happened?
John was right about that bank statement. He's going to take his
He's going to cash in and do nothing.
Nothing. He hasn't done a damn thing. He only got one.
Exactly.
Feeble fails kindergarten math. Price's reaction to McDonald. Smells like Lawson 2.0. Progress to Neil. Knicks Nation says it's funny. Cowboys fan talks like he's a fan of the Chiefs. You haven't won a Super Bowl since you had a hairline. Holy shit.
Oh, Knicks Nation coming to my defense. Hell yeah, Knicks Nation.
The Brewers are expected to name Pat Murphy as manager.
Really?
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Will McDonald was shocked. Yeah, he probably wasn't expecting a call in the late first round the next day. But I do have one more comment to get to. Alex, is Calf going to be the scapegoat if that does happen? Tierney get the promotion or Dave's calls plays? So to answer your question from earlier, Jacob, I'll say this: I don't think Kafka gets canned. He might, but I don't think he does. I think for Daboll to be considered serious next year, he needs to fire a couple of coaches.
Like your boy Thomas
McGahee and Bobby Johnson are the top two. O-line coach, special teams coach. That's probably the top two, I would say. And then figure out the rest of the offense and all that sort of stuff. But what's up to Almighty in the chat?
What's up, man?
But if you guys want to go into picks.
Yeah, why not?
By the way, I did this in class today. I did the updated prediction.
Well, you know what? I think so. Unfortunately, I won't be here Thursday. But you know what I'll do? Either sometime during halftime or after the game Wednesday. I know it's a Knicks game. I'll just announce the records of everyone because this is not officially done. But we can predict next week's games if y'all want.
True. All right. What I will say is this: here are the prediction points from the Rise and Rush podcast predictions that we've been doing. John is at 20.5. I'm at 22.5, and Luca is at 26. Now, I will say this before we get into. John and me got something right, like right on that got us both 1 point. And let me see what it was. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it was the Tampa Bay game. It was. So I picked Vita Vea to be the lead sacker at 1. John picked Devin White to be the lead sacker at 1. Well, there was no lead sacker because it was all ones, and Vita Vea and Devin White both got 1. So
there we go.
But Lucas still leads in the prediction party. Is Wink Martindale on the hot seat? He should not be. If he is, then I don't know who you're hiring as defensive coordinator. Like, I literally cannot think of a defensive coordinator you hire. Knicks play the Hawks on Wednesday. Yep.
Yes.
Bo Porter's joining the Angels as first base coach. That doesn't really surprise me. Alex, if you're for the first pick, who would you want or trade down? If you're trading down, you got to get a quarterback and an offensive lineman. If you get the first pick, you're drafting Caleb Williams. No questions asked. The Giants have never been a team that has gotten the first overall pick, by the way. That would be the first time in history.
First time for
who might be going to Vegas?
Fuck.
Yeah, they play the Hawks. Hire Salas since he may be gone. He's not going to be gone,
Sad.
unfortunately, for the two Jet fans in the room. But he runs a 4-3, and I don't think the Giants would flip schemes like that. They still run a 3-4.
The Jets,
All right.
the Jets did that.
Yeah, that's true, but that's from Ulbrich more like. But then again,
Yeah, but
who
they
knows?
were 3-4 with Greg Williams when they should have been 4-3, and then they went.
You know what? I mean, why not have an all bald coaching staff? Dabes, Kafka, and Salah. Have an all bald coaching staff.
All the brothers.
Baldies.
Fucking three.
The real
Stooges.
Baldies breakdown.
No,
But,
he's not.
Are we ready for picks for next week?
Yep.
All right. Kicking it off. These guys will be calling the game. Thursday night football. Bengals Ravens. That should be a good one.
Bengals Ravens.
I'm going to go with the Ravens. They're reeling after a tight loss to the Browns. They want this one badly. I think. I hate saying that Cincinnati's going to. What was I going to say? Cincinnati's going to lose 2 in a row here, but I think the Ravens take this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Ravens too. The fact that they lost that game to the Browns is so fucking stupid.
I will also go with the Ravens and go a clean sweep. I do love the Bengals, so I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but I'm going with the Ravens. They got the home field advantage. All right, next game. Another AFC North game. Another good game. Steelers-Browns.
I'm going Browns.
Give me the Browns.
I will also go the dog pound. All right.
The Stellars will not be going to the Super Bowl.
No.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Afram, this is a Vicks vapor inhaler. It's good for like when you. I know it's addictive, but it's just a vapor. It's not anything like drugs related. It's not like vaping or whatever. But anyways, it's just an inhaler. It's all good and well. It's for stuffy nose.
Actually,
Appreciate it, Evan.
good night. As Jacob and Brad are commenting my absence on Thursday, I really just don't want to see Brad here on Thursday. That's the real reason.
Good job, Luca.
That would be pretty damn weird. If I was snorting that.
You're hysterical.
Goddamn, between him and Knicks Nation.
I know.
The Jets are only playing 2 linebackers at a time. It's Mosley and Williams.
Yeah, they've went from like 4-3 to 4-2-5.
Mm-hmm. But
I would say so.
all right, next game up: Cardinals Texans.
Mid Texans.
Yeah, I'm right with Stroud.
Same here. I like that Kyler Murray's back, but he's not beating the Texans. That's CJ Stroud. All right, division game: Titans Jaguars.
Titans Jags.
Both teams are coming off a loss. I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, John, I know you said he was elite. I still think Trevor Lawrence is not elite. He's a good quarterback. He's not elite yet.
He got punked by San Fran yesterday. He had a bad game. Yes.
Okay.
I'll admit.
Okay. That's
let me go. Yeah, give me the Jags.
I'm also going with the Jags. I think Trevor Lawrence bounces back. I think he's that good. All right. Raiders Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphinos.
the Fins. Antonio Pierce loses his first game.
First 5 games, we all have the same picks. That's really never happened. Okay.
Luca, it's okay. The Jets made you vape. We will help you quit. Hashtag help Luca quit.
The Cowgirls and Panthers.
Unfortunately, I want to say I would like to say
Going
Panthers
Cowboys.
because I want the Panthers to win because of the tank. But no, I got to go Cowboys here.
Yeah,
It would be funny though if the Cowboys lost.
It would be funny. I would laugh. But the Cowboys will probably win this game. It's the Panthers. Another easy one, I think. Lions, Bears.
Lions.
Give me the Leones.
I'll also take the Lions. There's got to be some sort of weird upset that happens here that we're all probably wrong, but it doesn't matter. All right, next game up.
Next week.
Chargers, Packers.
I'm also surprised that Bears Lions game is not Thanksgiving because it's Packers Lions. You said Chargers Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Chargers.
Android Chargers.
Look at this idiot doing this.
Here's where I'm going to go different. I have the Packers
go
winning
Green
this
Bay.
one. I have the
Okay.
Packers
I was gonna say real quick the comment. We know how to tank unlike the Jets. Well, the Giants have never fully tanked for number one.
Here's my reasoning. I feel like Justin Herbert's one of those warm weather quarterbacks. Not that he can't get it done in the cold,
That's
but
fair.
it does hurt him. It does hurt him a little. And Green Bay's a cold place. They're at Lambeau. So, all right, Giants, commies.
I'm gonna go
Commanders. Let's start the. I don't have my fucking paper T. I don't know where.
Giants versus the Tank Commanders.
No. We're tanking.
I'll take the Commanders as well in a clean sweep.
A, N, and then like K.
All right. 49ers, Bucks.
49ers is that a fucking question.
Yeah, me too. I don't think. Sorry, Brian. I know they proved us wrong last week, but
They did.
I'm going with the 49ers here as well. Okay. Jets, Bills. You already know where I'm going.
I think the Jets could win this game.
The Jets might have a chance. No, I'm going Buffalo. No.
Yes, let's go Bills.
Bills.
I mean, not let's go Bills, but yeah.
Seahawks, Rams.
Also, real quickly, Armin, question for you: are you on the tank?
That's a good question. They're gonna have Stafford back actually, but the Seahawks are coming off a somewhat convincing win versus the Commanders.
Give me the Rams.
The Rams were on a bye, right?
Correct.
Yeah, give me the Rams at home.
Give me the Rams off the bye.
I'll also take the Rams off the bye here. Seattle kind of disappointed me a little.
Yeah, I told you about that.
You
but...
did. You were correct on that one. That was one I was incorrect, and you were correct. Sunday Night Football, Vikings, Broncos. Guys, you guys were wrong on this one. Can I get my boy Josh Dobbs a little more respect?
Yes. I'm taking the Vikings.
All right, fine. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't know Derek Carr was going to get hurt and put up 5 fantasy points. Let's see.
All right. This is probably the best matchup of the week.
I didn't even say my pick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Clown. Yeah, let me go ahead and say that the Vikings are going to win this one.
Best matchup of the week. Monday Night Football. Eagles, Chiefs.
Ooh, I'm actually going to go Philadelphia. I know Arrowhead has essentially like the 13th, 12th man like they do in Seattle. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like the Chiefs at times have looked like they're still one of the best teams in the AFC. But I feel as though like the Chiefs, I don't know, like there are times where they get caught in a rut.
Give me the Chiefs.
This is a tough one.
What's the point? We're not supposed to win, Almighty.
You know what? I'm going to side with Luke on this one. I say the Eagles get the road victory.
Okay. Y'all think Lawrence gets paid more than Herbert and Burrow? Yeah, probably.
He's got to prove more in my opinion.
He doesn't deserve it, but he probably gets paid in it. So, yeah, just enjoy tanking season, says Armin. That's the meaning of Jets. So that's it for the picks.
Yes, correct. I'm sorry. I was looking at a something on Twitter for a sec, but that is our picks for next week.
All right, Luca, do you want to go into anything else, or you could, or if you want to save your next talk for Wednesday?
We'll talk about it on Wednesday. Maybe we'll do like a halftime breakdown of certain.
There is one thing we didn't do that we did promise the fans. Maybe before we go, we can do it.
Grid?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do that.
We did say in the beginning. We didn't forget.
Before Johnny got angry.
Yeah, sorry.
Angry. All right, here we are. So,
Seahawks, Vikings, Percy Harvin.
You're gonna guess that outright?
Yes.
That's a guy. The first guy I think of, Sidney Rice.
32%. Good job, Luca.
Oh,
you could have waited.
I said you're gonna guess that outright.
You could have waited for John.
Well, I was gonna think of other guys that were like less obvious, but okay.
You could have said.
I said I say you're gonna guess that outright. That means are we going with it?
You could have said that. Hold on. Hold on. You could have said to John, are you okay with that pick? Do you have any other
I
options?
didn't know we were
Yeah,
going with it. If I'm being honest.
You threw John aside like a fucking what's the term? Help me out here. Help me out here. There's a certain term.
Like a
You
piece
threw
of
him
shit.
aside like a prom night dumpster baby.
Okay, Family Guy. All right. I think this guy played with the Seahawks. I think it's Justin Coleman for the Patriots and Seahawks.
Yes.
Or we could do Lions Seahawks. Lions Pats. Which one do you get this thing? Is best?
Lions. Go with the Lions one.
Yeah. How about for Vikings? What is that? 5,000 career yards.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going with Moss or Carter, but how about Jake Reed?
G. Reed. That's a guess.
That's a good one.
Okay. All right. First round draft pick. I'm trying to think of like first. I'm pretty sure Greg Robinson was a first round draft pick.
For who? The
Which for the Rams. Fuck. First round draft pick for Ziggy Ansah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was Ziggy Ansah.
It's pretty good.
Okay, Rashad Penny could be in the Seahawks conversation.
Rashad Penny. Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think of other guys as well. I think of first rounders.
Should we go with Rashad Penny?
No. Let's not go with Rashad Penny. No. Let's see.
Trying to think of other guys. What about wasn't Jermaine Ifedi a first rounder?
I don't think so, but I could take a look.
Oh,
He was. He was.
Mm-hmm.
See, you gotta go. John's like the encyclopedia.
Sometimes when it comes to this stuff.
0.7. That could have also worked here, but that's fine. All right. Let's see. Pats 5,000 receiving yards. Did Wes Welker ever do it?
He might have. I think you could be right on that.
Oh yeah, 99,000. Not 99,000 receiving yards. Jesus Christ.
Wow, he's the greatest receiver of all time, apparently, according to Alex.
9,000 yards.
I got it. First rounder, 5,000 career receiving. I don't know how. Obviously, be Andre Johnson.
Okay.
Okay, I'll live with that.
Andre Johnson. He was a first rounder.
That's 2013, 2016.
No.
No. The Hall of Fame, the guy before.
No.
Texans Andre Johnson.
Yes.
So I'm saying, is it the first option or no?
What's the years?
2013, 2003.
You said 2013. It's actually 2003. Yes,
That's why I was
2003.
confused. Yeah, correct.
Yes?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Pats and Seahawks. All right. When do you guys want to
What
defer
about
to
Cody Hollister?
one of the
Ooh.
Hollister brothers?
That's
Cody or
Yeah.
Jacob Hollister?
pretty good. Trying to think.
Yep.
Vikings.
Did it
line.
be Jacob Hollister?
I was wrong. I was right on the Hollister.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um,
Vikings and then Pats.
Vikings Lions. You know what? I know this one for a fact. Nate Burleson.
Nate Burleson. Okay.
That's just because I worked with him before.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, that's why I know that.
Little CBS put in here. And then 5,000 receiving yards. Pats.
That's the only reason. All right, you said Wes Welker.
What about
Most
Joey
of-
Galloway?
I don't know if he ever got 5,000.
He did actually.
Ooh.
Got 10,000 actually. So
What
let's
about-
go. With,
I was gonna take another stab.
Okay.
I was gonna because someone saw it in the chat.
Deion
Steele
Branch?
said it, Deion Branch. We can go either one, but thought Branch should be a good one. Because I'm pretty sure he's over 5,000.
we'll do Deion Branch.
Okay.
46 rarity score.
All right.
Right. Hypothetically, if we have the number 1 pick and Chicago has, let's say, a 2 and a 5, would you make the trade and maybe draft man and lineman?
No, he's talking about 2nd and 5th overall.
2nd and 5th overall pick.
Ooh. That's a tough one.
You might have to take the chance there. Like I know if they trade up for that, I would need like extra, like maybe a 2nd and a 3rd to put on the Christmas tree. But yeah, I might actually consider that because you get an extra lineman and then all that other stuff, and plus you have 2 seconds, so you could go like any way with that. That would actually be a dream. So you might actually consider. I would actually take that. But well, we've come to the end of another show. Another fabulous show where the Jets fans were very happy on this panel. Luca?
Final thoughts. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I also like to thank Vinny for coming out and being our guest for today. But this team is a disaster, a dumpster fire, a doormat. They're the laughing stock of the NFL, and I will continue to believe that. Even a win next week, I don't think really changes my mind because this coaching staff is a bunch of clowns. They deserve to be in the circus and not for an NFL coaching staff. I'm just seeing the long-term view. Call me negative. I don't care. But thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight and hearing me and John's rants.
Armin says the Bears are on their 2nd next year to do a sweat trade. Well, they're stupid for making that trade. You like Jaden Daniels? I have to watch a little more tape on him. I got to be like Robert Sal. I got to go watch the tape. But Sir John.
In my closing thoughts, I will not be talking about the Jets. Rangers goalie Henrik Lundqvist was officially inducted into the Hall of Fame today. Probably one of the best New York Rangers to ever live. Just incredible career. Wish he won a Stanley Cup. But good job, King Henrik. Congrats on your Hall of Fame career. Congrats on getting there. Knicks lost tonight, unfortunately, but we'll be calling the game against the Atlanta Hawks Wednesday, as we don't like Trae Young here, so that'll be a fun one.
Shot chucking baby diaper.
That's right. And we'll be back, like I said, Wednesday, but we'll also have some more videos to pop out. But guys, remember, I'll be on Jose's channels at 5:00 tomorrow, so go check that out, okay? We'll make sure to share it out for you.
Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Cowboys recap coming tomorrow. Then I'll see what I can analyze of that game. But great discussion on here about the lovely Jets. You guys love them so much.
Alex didn't say one word about the Giants today and their loss to the Cowboys.
They were tanking.
There was tanking. That's a great way.
Yeah.
Hey, it was tanking.
T for tanking. Wait. Whatever. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. We'll have some more content throughout the rest of the week. Stay tuned. Peace out. See you later. Stay tuned.